Thank you so much. Sharif, why don't you wrap it up because this is your show.
The big kahunas, they're coming up next, but we have Brendo. He's at the big desk. Let's take us into the close.
Hey guys, 2 o'clock. Welcome back in as we head towards the end of a Monday afternoon. Going to be a pretty exciting afternoon here, even though the market is dead flat. Danielle Shea coming up. She's going to join us, talk a little bit about not only what happened last week with earnings, but what is to come this week with a ton of earnings in the tech group. We'll touch on this Tesla story as well that's lingered throughout the day here as far as not only what they're doing, bringing that cheaper Model Y back to Canada from Shanghai, but also with the price action for the day as well. So Miss Danielle Shea coming up in, well, we have a range of time today that we could expect her. So sometime before 3 o'clock. Here's how the futures are shaping up right now as we head into the afternoon here. A little bit negative right across all three major U.S. markets here. 0.04 for the S&P, 0.01 for the Dow, the NASDAQ 0.34 downside. 1.4 meanwhile for crude oil. It's only exciting because it's the biggest number on the board. 0.42 for Bitcoin, Ethereum chopping around as well. That's how the overall market is looking as far as individual sectors are concerned. And by the market, I mean the S&P 500, 0.02 right now, so dead flat. FSLR, 4.5% downside. It's been these semiconductors that have been the sticking point all day. MPWR, the only one, 1.6% to the upside. There's NVIDIA, 0.6 in negative territory, or 0.7, I should say, in negative territory. A little bit of negativity coming from industrial stocks here as well. CARR, 5.6% downside. Some of the transportation names stuck in the red. Banks are red outside of FRC having quite the day ahead of earnings coming up tonight. BTRS, 4.5% downside as well in the healthcare group, but otherwise pretty positive. Energy stocks are up, as we saw. Crude oil, 1.4%. Material stocks are positive. Consumer staples and utilities as well. Pretty positive right across the entire board. Hope your afternoon is shaping up pretty well. A couple hours left, as we said. We'll jump into everything we were discussing as far as what was available for opportunities in the pre-market this morning. Make sure you're joining us every single day as we get you set and ready for what is to come starting at 8:30 in the morning. If you haven't done so already, grab that QR code, bottom corner of the screen. Go to watchlist.tradertv.live and enter your email address. It will get that for you. Happens every single morning, comes right to your inbox for free. Has everything you need to know on it starting at 8:30 with us. Let's talk some big tech. We asked the question, was it a buy heading into the open today? And I mean, individual names maybe gave you a shot, but overall, not so much across the board. Apple, we talked about a couple of minor individual storylines in that group this morning, guys. Microsoft with a negative note as far as analysts are concerned. AMD with a couple of positive notes from analysts this morning. But overall, another one of those kind of days.
Yeah, it's just one of them days. That's dead on. Well, welcome back, everybody. Well, it's just
Glad to be back.
I know, glad to be back. You were just on. I was about to say it. I'm like, wait a minute. You guys just came from the previous show, and Sean was already here, so it's welcome back. It's a bit strange, but it was a lot of fun sitting in with Sharif. But this morning, it was tricky. And if you're looking at some dip buys, I had dip buys set for Amazon. Really only like 2 levels. Only traded 2 levels. There was the 106.75 from the previous day. It sets up easy enough to show you on the 3-minute instead of the 15. We played that bounce. It initially wiped out, then just jumped right back in when it wicked the bottom. That worked pretty well into 107.5. If there's a mistake, it was going back to the well when trying to go long at the same level just underneath to try to make that bounce happen. Shouldn't have done it. Waited for it to get to 105. That was the other level we liked, was the 105. This time, we kind of learned our lesson. Allow it to make a bottom, and then go long. It shows the bottom. You make the higher low. I got out at 106, kind of looking for a reversal somewhere around that 106.75. Like, I was really just thinking, we get back to here, and that support could turn into resistance. The market is stronger than Amazon just by a little bit here. And that's the big cap that I really liked in terms of, I didn't really trade any Meta. Didn't have any Microsoft. I know Microsoft has news with Zoom, and you're watching that make some power moves to the upside. Yeah, but this is sort of the one for me, Amazon. And I look at that 106.75. It feels like that can turn into a bit of a zone for the short. If you do look at it on the higher time frame, there's still that fake this didn't happen on Amazon. I hate this, never got there. But if you look at the daily chart and see where we just came from on Amazon, like you've made that break of about 105, and then it sets up like a failed break of the 108. But the 108 happened, it gave the win, and right now we're staring kind of a failed breakout of that in the face with that lower high from Friday. Like this support level looks to me like it could turn into some resistance. So I'm likely to take a shot shorting this one around that 107. If we get there, of course, that's a big if. And I am in that INAB, that INAB. That kind of top 350, failed at 375. I shorted in between. If it breaks $3, my bid is at 280, in front of 280.
All right, so I don't want to make more of a mess here. Welcome back, guys. I just got out of Apple. You might have seen that, and I flipped it around. So we'll go the other way right now because Apple's like a face slapper here today. We actually just, bad. We actually just had Apple long at the bottom here at 164. And we just got out right now as it came right back to the day's high again, pretty much. So let's short this against 165.50. That's going to be my play now. We're back into the short on Apple. We have lots of big longs, man. We're $2 in the money on Microsoft, but it's the same way. This is coming up to VWAP. We should probably get out and flip over to the short on this as well. Google, a huge move up, man. We're long this name as well. This is at the high of the day. This name, again, probably should be flipping out. So I'm going to be getting out of all of these trades right now. Let's just do that on Google. We'll end that trade right now. We're ringing the freaking register on this one. Look at these longs. Long, 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 long. Look at this Google long right here and look at that out. Right back to day's high. So if this is not what we're doing, man, I mean, that's about as good as you could get. The bottom of the day and the top of the day there on Google, you know, so we should be pretty proud of what we're able to do. But you got to get out when things start to break. This was maybe a bad out there as well. I'm just trying to get better, man. I'm trying to get better, trying to make sure that we pick the right names on the right days and try to absorb some of those downside moves that happen early. So we did get stopped out of a few of these big tech plays. Amazon continues to be pretty brilliant as well as that moves all the way. Not brilliant trading, but just the stock off bottoms. I mean, we had it early. It was a big, big winner. We emptied a lot of them out there at 109. Like, what a huge move. Like, Amazon went 4% down. It went 109 to 105. Right there, so call it 3.5%. We were actually pretty patient and waited for this to bottom finally. So we stepped up and out of Amazon early, but there it is. It's a nice move back. This name also getting pretty top heavy as we flipped over, and that was a good flip over on Apple, right? So let's put a bid now at 15s and see if we can't capture a little bit of profit. Now give it to us down there at 15. We could do that easy E-line again, but I think we're gonna get this nut down to 165.15. So here it is. Give us it right now. We'll take it. It's only 15 cents, but it's a retracement play. So let's see if we can get that. It doesn't look like it. I'm going to punch some out there at 18, and we miss it as well. So we don't get 18s or 15s there. Come on. There it is. So that's there. Now we get 18s. Hopefully we'll get 15s as we flipped over to some shorts here, Brendo.
Right. Just saw Rumble pop up there on a volume spike. Not much follow through, but we'll keep an eye on Rumble here. Wow, it's all the way to 920. Yeah, what a day for RUM. 6.3%. Just a day high break. Possibly there. Still pretty light on the volume. 2.7 million, but 6% for Rumble today to the upside. Let's talk about Coke here. There's a note on Snap as well. Snapchat once. It was from TechCrunch talking about a bad review. Nothing. Don't worry about it. Here's Coca-Cola. This was pre-market this morning. If you were with us, we talked about the earnings report. Ended up being a bit of a sluggish trade today as well. But nice report right across the board for Coke. Forecasts look pretty good as well. Pepsi even having a nice day, as this note has mentioned. And oh yeah, Brief's back.
Guys, I'm on the closing rundown now every day. But let's have a look at Coke, man. We didn't trade this too much during the midday show. Yeah, 65.20 top, but it's been down into the right ever since breaking through VWAP there. I don't know. Market maybe not really liking what it heard after all, after digested the information, because now it's negative on the day, Brendo, breaking through that 64.05 bottom.
Yeah, just couldn't really get going at any point today. I mean, we had the nice move in the pre-market there off the report itself, but just never really got going as far as Coke is concerned. I was just double checking if there wasn't anything else. Doesn't look like it. Decent report, though, but a bit of a grind to the downside today.
Yeah, definitely a grind. And Comp SRX, I know you know who Easy E is. You're just trolling in the chat. We know Easy. Coke wasn't easy, but the level, look, I waited for it to get to 64 on that bit of a break. We talked about this one, kind of like, I liked one price alone. I didn't want to bet on the breakout, so I said, okay, well, 64 is support. Let's just go for the long. off the 64 level. This is what it looks like on the 15. So you had all kinds of like consolidation around that price. We went long over. That was good. We went long in the range. It then broke down. Now it's breaking down. I'm not really looking for the short in Coke. I feel like, I don't know, like it's so much chop zone in here that you're probably going to pick up bids along the way. A lot of other names that can trend back into the downside. You guys know I'm in Intel. But there was a long at the open if you just bought the dip off 64. Going to the well the third time, probably unnecessary at that moment. And no bounce when the market bounced. That's always that's a big sign of weakness. When the market is bouncing and it doesn't go, you just got to be able to get out, right? Like that's going to the downside. Conversely, just because I happen to be in it, the difference is when the market bounced on Intel, it's like this doesn't bounce either. That's why I want to be short this all afternoon. As a matter of fact, maybe I take something into 29.85. I don't think we're getting 30s again. But yeah, Coke, it was a good report. It just couldn't really hang on to that breakout. Not many things could hang on to the breakout from this morning.
Coke, yeah, look, we talked about this before, man. J&J, all that kind of stuff on earnings. They're very difficult to trade. And I did a little bit of a rant earlier with Sharif, and that was about GM. People asking us about some of these big blue chip kind of names. Neil was like, hey, man, if we get lucky enough to get a 64 bid, well, that's the point. Is like on earnings, when it comes back in and it comes in and gives you that 64 bid, maybe things change by the time that comes through, right? So if you do get instant flushes off the open, watch out for them. But Coke, again, started the day pretty nice to the upside. And I don't think you change the game up, especially on big names like a Coca-Cola that's widely held, doesn't really have too much movement. When you're going to run into support up here, or sorry, resistance in this case, of $66, $67, and you don't take it out on earnings, probably have seen a top. So we'll give it a couple days. We always say that off earnings, but this might be a temporary top here, $65 on Coke. So we'll see if that can keep on trucking here to the upside. So shout out to anybody that was able to make a little bit of money on that early, but I'm going to leave it alone late. We're back into Apple short, so let's see if that one wants to work right now. Just trying our best here on AAPL against the day's high right now. One more average in against 50. If that doesn't work, then we're out of Apple. So let's wait to see if that does hold out. And then Amazon, a break back down below here. We're going to get out near 106. I'm just giving you an update because we're going to go back to Brendan in a second. And then anything below 281's an out for me on Microsoft as well. So far, so good here. It's just Apple that's giving me a little bit of ways right now, starting to head back up to the upside. One more average in right now, near 37 it is. And then we'll watch to see what happens after that. 37 average in for Apple.
3.5 hours. Meeting room. Let's go to Tesla. We were sitting here. You and I were discussing this in the pre-market, this CapEx news that came out this morning. If you missed it, they adjusted their forecast, capital expenditure forecast, up, which is typically not a good thing when you're spending more and talking about lower margins coming through as well. Here's 2.25%, 2 1/3 to the downside. This flush, though, was pretty impressive all the way back to 159.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, Miss Danielle Shea coming up here in, well, we'll see, 15 minutes, I hope. To talk a little bit about not only earnings, but we'll get her take on this Tesla thing. But what a mess that was.
Yeah, she was none too plus when I asked her about the margins and the CapEx expenditure. Last time around, I don't think she'll have a different answer this time around. But from a technical perspective here, let's have a look at what Tesla's been doing all day intraday. You get that VWAP rejection initially, Brendo, at that 161 1/3. You retrace back, but hold 160, and now we're at that same spot again, knocking on the door of VWAP. Can we hold it this time? Let's see, guys.
Yeah, Google day highs as we speak right now, about 1% to the upside, but difficult to really catch that, I would think, unless you were sitting here watching that breakdown today. But nice clean move downside this morning for Tesla.
Yeah, it was clean. I was short Tesla. Sometimes you like the longs and you think the market is going up, so therefore I get into this mode where, okay, you've got this target area zone where you want the short and the market's bouncing right now. So it's going to bounce, get out, because Tesla's going to do what it always does, which is make that early move and then do a bit of a bounce off of like the low 160s. That's not what happened at all. I did wait till it got right into that 165 where we closed on Friday, put the short on, scalped it out, and then the rest is kind of history. It doesn't look as bad on the 3-minute chart. It still sucks, but because you did have a slight bounce off the lows, which I thought that was going to be it. We're going to make that bounce, but I anticipated instead I'm getting out VWAP, I'm getting out inside of the range. And when that just basically means I never really thought we were breaking all the way down on Tesla, quite frankly. And then we did. So 160s held, that was a major level, and there was a wild battle, 59s and holding the 160. Just feels like we could be a little bit of a long off that 160 level, if anything. Just one note, I did just get FRC. I was in that one this morning. We're not really talking, yeah, it's not even on the chart. But it was in it this morning, but now just sort of playing off VWAP. It's dipped once off VWAP, now kind of bouncing again. VWAP working when I'm on this side because I'm in a different version, but FRC strong day, just looking to see if it can hold VWAP and then scalp in the range, hold some for the high of the day. It never got to 17 even, which was a bit of a target, but it did still have a pretty solid day. I don't see much for me in Tesla unless we get back down to that 160 area for a bit of a dip buy.
All right, right now, man, Apple, I was going to say Google. Yeah, look, we've talked about that. I'm not going to, I mean, if anything, I think you got to look at Rivian, Lucid, things like that. We talked about Ford and GM coming up with earnings as well. And, you know, that should play a factor in anybody's decision to look at EV names and whatnot. So that's going to be Tesla, Ford, GM, all that. We're going to wait to see a GM report coming through today. Ford's been pretty strong today for sure. But my concern right now is solely on Apple. We took that short into the day's high. It's come back in. We are now flat on the position. We had to hold this about 15 or so cents against us, but I'm looking to get a little piece out near 25 cents, back down, try to take about a dime, and then hopefully hold for a flush back down. It's just the markets, as I said, whenever you get back here, I just wonder if the next step is it trying to get back to positive, and then if that's the case, then Apple definitely takes out its day's high. But that's why we're short right now on Apple. It's just it's you know, fading off of that high rate there. Let's hope that we can get that move back in, and you know, anything here, 20s is held. That's where initially we got some of our short out the first time. Maybe a push back to 165, and then we're really laughing. But here comes Apple. It kind of resisted that drop, and here goes the market right now, heading back up to the upside, looking to take out these levels. So we just busted through. I thought maybe that this move up would have been the top. It doesn't look like it. So extension here on the market. Look out for us getting out of Apple if we take out 165.50. So just look at this. It's 17 cents or so worth of risk to the upside here if we're wrong. So, you know, position yourself accordingly, but it does look like Apple. I thought the market might have stopped there and tried to come back in. The NASDAQ is at a decent level. We're going to have Danielle Shea coming on in a minute, as Brendan's hinted at a couple times there. But, you know, we're right there at the 50 period of this market, 69. It looks like we're just touching that rate now. So, yeah, a little bit of a blow higher than that, and, yeah, it's going to be a problem. So I'm going to hopefully have a pullback down into this market, back to the downside now, off of that 60, and we're holding Apple. Let's just hope it doesn't take out the day's high first. My luck would have it that that is what happens, but there's Apple pulling back. Let's see, I'm bidding 26s. If you stop, like, see, now I'm getting anxious because, like, don't even. All right, I took some 28s there, but I do have an order to get a decent piece out at 26. Maybe I should just say anything, as if Apple cares about what price my stupid shares are at. But it just hates when it bounces off of it. But so far, we're rewarded a little bit with this downside push here, Brendo.
All right, just watching ANGI popped up here on volume. IDYA still going as well. A lot of little ones flying around so far this afternoon. Here's AMD down 1%. Nice bounce underway, though, off of that high. If you go out to the daily chart, this 86, 87 area ends up being support once again for AMD as we try and get these chips going back to the upside to help the overall market. This was this morning, Deutsche Bank and Susquehanna liking AMD going into a new week.
Yeah, it's sad that it's down on the day because we're at 87.41. We closed out on Friday at 88.42. The technicals look decent, though. Create a bit of a bottom there, Brendo, at 86.50 or so. Now just retracing above VWAP.
Yeah, 0.25% left here, guys, for the NASDAQ to maybe get back to positive.
Well, the issue with AMD is that once it broke 88, like if we look at the daily chart on AMD and tell me if you like that bottom that it happened to make. Oh, our position board just went away. So next fill, I guess that'll come back on. fix my mic as well, straighten it up. But you look at the daily, 88, 50 period, flat bottom break, all of those things came into play this morning. You'll see I'm actually short Intel, which was similar. But on the way back to the upside, I want to short AMD into that 88 level. So once it's above 87.5, to me, that's a fade into like previous support into resistance, and it already showed you some checkup at that particular price. Now, I liked Intel, maybe not even as clean on the chart. Quite frankly, AMD breaking 88 might have looked even better. It's just Intel had a supply zone. We shorted that supply zone. Then we shorted 29.96, the $30 level. It got close to 29.5 where I had a bid down there, but I'm shorting pops in this as well into that 30 level. So AMD, flat bottom breaker. If it gets back to 88, I think it's resistance. Quite frankly, it's price target hikes and upgrades. Sometimes they mean something. Don't get me wrong, if you had held 88 at the open and started breaking back out, then the longs would have been valid, but that's not what happened today. So unless the market can get this holding a bid above 88 even, there's only one direction I'm looking at in this price range. If it was off 85, maybe I'd be long. But I'm shorting pops in this name for sure.
What?
What happened?
I don't know, man. I'm trying out that new key there, and I have 284.
The key's cursed.
Such an idiot. I'm trying out a new key here, and it's like to get me flat. And I didn't mean to get out of Microsoft right there, but we'll sell the high right now. We won't do anything. We'll just do a bang on it because we got out. But I was trying to get out if it broke this level right there, 281.17. And, of course, I put 70. Not 17, so there it is, breaks it, hits it, and then the rest is history. We get out right there. So unfortunately, we're out of Microsoft, but that's okay. Microsoft's battled all the way back and is right near VWAP. So yeah. Oh man, I can't believe how much I screwed up on Microsoft today. It's pretty brutal. All right, so right there also, I'm gonna take another piece out on Microsoft if we can here. I won't keystroke that. We'll put a bit at 84, at 28. Hopefully it comes down and fills us a little bit here as, again, short. If I can go into scalp mode on the shorts, I think it's probably worth doing that until we do get confirmation that the market does want to come back in a little bit. So for right now, no more bids on Apple until we get here to the 50 period, which is around 10. So I actually have an 06 bid right now on that one. AMD, okay, so AMD was a lucky one for me. We got in and out of it. It's not going to look too lucky because we battled all the way back and we could have bought the bottoms, but coulda, woulda, shoulda. All we did was respect the levels that we wrote down here on our sticky note, and that was quite frankly 88 long. So when it came in, here's the 88 long. First of all, we went short because we thought AMD was the wrong way there. So, we got mixed up a little bit at 88. Went short, got out when it broke, and that's about a 15-cent hit, and didn't do anything since. Was waiting to see. There's 88 held right back up to the upside, but since then, it's been a great short off that level. So sometimes what we write down on the sticky note, those are just levels of interest, and it looks like 88 is going to be a good short. So I think we'll wait there to get short on 88 if it does come back up. Of course, Eric Lindros right there. We didn't trade much Bed Bath & Beyond unless you did.
I absolutely did not.
Okay, so let's go over to the desk and talk a little bit about Bed Bath & Beyond now, Brendo.
Yeah, bankrupt Bed Bath & Beyond officially over the weekend. Filing for Chapter 11, if you missed it this morning. Hey, there was a long opportunity here. It ended up being around 8:30 or so. I guess at the open as well, it did bounce off that same level. But as you were saying, what an ugly chart so far today.
Incomprehensible.
Even with 400 plus million shares traded today.
Just a few shares, guys. Come look at this chart. This is a 3-minute on BBBY. Where the support and resistance levels are, aside from the top, obviously, your guess is as good as mine. I'm not touching it.
Unreal as far as the volume is concerned. If you go out to a daily chart, you can see the volume is off the charts, for lack of a better word, here. It's actually creeping back onto my chart, the volume is. But big day here, guys, as far as volume is concerned, but not much action, just back and forth for BBBY.
You talk about a nothing. I really thought this was going to be
a something burger?
Something burger. I don't know. It didn't break the low. It didn't break the high. An inside day, the day they declare bankruptcy when there's still short interest. I mean, what are you doing? Like on a day like this can't break the top. I was just waiting for the top to break. Let's be patient. Let's not get in too early. It's going to do one of those legitimate. Like this is the move I was expecting. A break of the top and then get into the previous day zone, right? That's what all day long I was setting up, waiting for it, paid for the locate. We'll break 24. 24 is going to happen, and then we'll wait for it to get in the first supply zone, take a shot there. If it does it again, take a shot at 38.40. I'm going to get a 10 to 20% retracement short at some point. Never happened. what a waste of time it was even looking at it. So nothing to see there. Thankfully, there's been a few names out there that, if you're interested, actually have been moving. FRC and INAB have been a couple of those. But yeah, it was mad. Like if you sat down early in the pre-market and maybe had that 16, congratulations to you. But that's pretty much it. Trending to the downside. I don't know what's next for them in terms of timeline. Will it go to OTC? We'll have Jeff Mendel on from OTC Markets tomorrow. Maybe he can shed some light on that process to be sure. We know he can. Just no idea what the next step is for it. I thought there'd be a squeeze. There wasn't. I thought Amazon was going to get to VWAP here. I was just about to wax poetic about the fact that the market was turning, and then I still have my intel, but this just never even got to VWAP. I want shorts in Amazon into VWAP, but that's not even happening here. So nothing burger for today on Bed Bath & Beyond. Maybe there's something tomorrow, although I'm not really going to anticipate that. I feel like it'll be back to FRC because they actually report.
Yeah, Zoom is down today. What's up, Soup? Yeah, we can talk about Zoom. That one's making a move down. Acon as well. There's a few different names to go right now, but we're going to go face slap a little bit here. This is the new one. We have a couple new ones coming through right now, but I think it's pretty appropriate that we do this. All right, it's just a hot dog cannon. It's nothing. If you are at sporting events right now, that's what sort of sparked that. Not that they're firing hot dogs at people's faces, but it's those cannons, those shirts and whatnot. So
they killed Maude.
That's what that was. What's that from?
The Simpsons.
Simpsons. I was going to say Maude. I know that name, but what was that from? That fired and hit her.
Yeah, Homer wanted it was a hot dog or the T-shirt cannon.
Yeah.
And then he ducked, and then it hit Maude, and she got knocked out of the bleachers. That's kind of morbid for. I mean, I know Simpsons isn't really a kid's show, but
I'm trying to watch some Simpsons with my kids, but it's the same thing because you got to be careful of what episodes, and it's just I don't know what age, but I feel like when I was
there an age?
That's what I mean. Like
I don't know that there was.
First of all, Simpsons is like 37 seasons or something ridiculous.
It's just not
right
child
now.
appropriate.
Or
is it though? I don't know.
Look,
what is it?
I'm not. We don't talk too much political right now, but there's a lot of people right now that, my kids can't use an iPad, or I don't want my kids using technology. So I just feel that, we were probably watching Simpsons when we were 12 or 13, whether or not it was appropriate for us or not. There's probably a lot of people in the chat,
fine.
and I don't know what age is appropriate. But I'm just
My
saying.
daughter's 6. I know she wouldn't watch it.
Right now, there's since 1989. Okay, so I was watching this at the bright old age of 10, probably.
Yeah.
And I just wonder, now of course we'll say we probably have some friends that are like this. There's no way I'd let my kids watch The Simpsons. Yet, they were watching The Simpsons themselves. So I feel like we can get better and make good decisions like that as we go. I don't know if I'll let my kids watch Family Guy at such a young age.
Well, that's different.
That's completely different.
Or like South Park, obviously.
I remember, man, we all wore those neon, man. We had to eat my shorts. I remember shirts like that. We used to wear them to school. It was hilarious. All that kind of stuff. And now it's I don't want to say this whole woke stuff like that right now, but there is
a very big difference between eat my shorts and then say South Park.
Oh, wow,
where
South
Carmen's
Park is,
student athletes, which is one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah, or there's
y'all know what I'm talking about that episode, right?
There's a lot of stuff. South Park there. There's that Ginger Day and all that.
Oh
kind
my
of
goodness.
stuff. Let's not
Token.
talk
I mean, come
about
on,
all of that.
What's up? We're not talking about EVs. So
You go.
Oh come on! Man. I was joking with you.
So now you know an easy way to get rid of Randy there.
No. It's just that usually when Randy shows up, we're talking about EVs.
Does Randy know anything other than EVs? Okay, we're going to ask the 8-Ball right now.
Sure he does.
To see
He
what
can
this
build
says.
desks.
Hell yeah, it says. See, finally, we get a great, what's up to Mr. Westermeyer?
Oh, I got a great South Park thing.
Good.
I got a huge, this is the most hilarious
Blame
South
Canada?
Park. Sorry, someone just said blame Canada. I am not making this up. I was in my brother went to school in Florida. I was there in the summer when that South Park movie came out. We're in the middle of the theater, the only two brothers in the entire theater, and we're Canadian.
Yes.
So when they did the blame Canada and we're dying there, and then they did the wall.
Oh, that's the best.
The wall. It's
yeah, I got to watch some more South Park.
The shielding guy. So obviously that's out of control, terrible. And everyone's looking at us because it's are they okay with this joke right now? When I went to see Book of Mormon,
we're so
everyone's
serious.
looking at me oh, is this guy going to be offended by this? I'm dying laughing the whole time. So I loved that movie.
You have to have a little bit of thin skin.
If you were Canadian, if you're Canadian and black in that theater, I'm you guys are hitting it on that. They nailed it. They absolutely nailed it. And if you're Canadian, we loved it. Canadians absolutely love sitting through that because it was fantastic. That being said, Brian Boitano was overrated, and our guy who lost to him.
Figure skating?
Because what would Brian Boitano do? You don't remember that? That was the whole song.
In the South Park.
That was in the South Park movie, man.
Man,
Look,
I'm just like, I'm trying to, so when we start talking about Canadian figure skating, I start thinking of other Canadian, like I don't want to say, let's not get like Nancy Kerrigan on anybody around here and start taking down kneecaps, although of course she was American, and Tanya Harding as well. I got my
not a
Rainbow
bad
Looms
movie, by
on
the way.
today.
The
I didn't
Tanya?
Yeah, I didn't watch that.
Not bad, not bad.
Not bad.
Definitely
Tanya
watch it.
or I, Robot right there. So
You know what? Actually, Tanya is a better movie than iRobot, and I'm a science fiction guy. I thought that iRobot was blasphemy, but whatever.
Zoom, BBBY Zoom downgraded. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so, by the way,
Is
I'm going to get
Zoom
this out of the way.
halted?
My Zoom chart is really screwed up, so I can't really look at it outside of my black chart. So if I talk about that stock, I'm going to use my black chart. I apologize in advance. Some people prefer that. But Roku, someone just asked about. And yes, I'm a hockey fan, Jason B Gaming. I do like hockey. I'm not a huge hockey fan, but I like the Leafs, and I'll definitely watch them in the playoffs. That's pretty much what I'm going to. And I used to like Montreal Canadiens, but only when my boy played there, PK. Family friend. Roku, it's a fail today for Roku, despite the fact that it's bouncing. But the only fail, I mean, it failed at the open, like everything else, right? Like the fail, I mean, is it failed $60. It kind of, like 2 days in a row, fails 60, make the same double bottom. Ignore this. My charts are having an issue on the 17th. I have phantom printing on the 17th, pre-market on every single one of my 15 minutes. It never happened. So it failed 60 break, and then bounced off Friday's lows, and then you're kind of getting a lower high vibe here. So 60, that's the level to watch on Roku. You're diddling in the middle here. I want this to press into that range so I can get that short. If it happens, it happens. But Roku on the daily, it seems like it's breaking down off this channel at 60. So I'd be playing the breakdown and waiting to short pops here instead of trying to catch a little bit of a bouncer on Roku.
Oh, shit.
What happened?
We're smoking right now because Apple's to the downside right now. We did get stopped out, so we say that because we got stopped out of Amazon, as Amazon breaks a little bit lower right now, but that's all good, baby, baby. It was all a dream. We did used to read Word Up Magazine. I don't think that exists anymore, and neither does Salt and Pepper, although I did see them on, I think it was like a Macy's float.
They exist.
They're old. They old right
They're
now.
not
I'm pretty
dead.
Sure they're not dead.
Well, okay, I don't think any
not
of them are
dead. I did want to talk about something right now because, and I'm not going to show this guy on the chat or anything like that, but like I just got a PM from somebody on Twitter, and it's literally like I could scam this person right now, and I'm not going to do it. But they said that they wanted to know what my BTC wallet was and everything like that because they were going to deposit crypto so I could start to teach them how to trade. That, guys, so many times over and over again, Neil, myself, Sharif, Brendan, whoever you want to talk about, make sure that you find it. There's actually something up on our socials right now. At Trader TV Sean. I'm not, although I'd love to get some kind of, I think the tips thing was, I thought there was a tips thing on here. I don't know. But anyways, we don't take money for any reason to set up trading or anything like that whatsoever. We are live here with Day Trade the World. You can set up an account with Day Trade the World. Go to daytradetheworld.com and start your journey from there. Do not send anything to any Instagram account, any Twitter account or anything, because I literally have a guy right now message me and says, I will accept your offer. And I messaged back to him and said, what offer? And then he messaged me and said, oh, depositing into BTC. Maybe it was Randy. He said, I'll deposit. Literally, I'm telling you this right now, and I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't a fact. This guy, I'm not going to show you out because you might be in the chat. Maybe it's a little bit embarrassing. But like asking for our wallets for crypto. Randy, you want to send me crypto, I'll send you my wallet anytime right now. But do not send it to Neil, myself,
send me an apple fritter, I'll eat
Sharif,
it.
Brendan. Apple fritters are good to go.
But I will, if you send a Timbit to the office, I will eat it on air for you. There's that.
Yeah,
always.
and especially pineapple on pizza on air. Neil would like to eat that as well. Right away, that could be done. No. Randy, stay out of this, okay, for a second here.
Thank you, Randy. That's what I'm talking about. Randy knows what's up.
So, The thing about pineapple on
Randy
pizza
gets
is
to
this.
work. Fonzie.
Yeah, Randy get to work. It's right.
Yeah, good luck with no.
We've already gone over this about Randy's workload. Okay.
In fairness, Randy is like one of the first people, generally speaking, in the office when he comes in. So.
Yeah, it's because he lives like 3 hours away. I mean,
Like,
the guy's
he
trying
wants
to
to
beat
beat
traffic
traffic.
up in here. No. But anyways, I don't know that. So Scott H, I don't know if the guy. So what I think is happening is, I think the person is not trying to scam me. That would be very silly to do that. Like, it's like when my wife gets a message and it says like, oh, hey, I'm Sean, like blah blah, and then she just looks over to me and is like, hey, it's like
No, I got one time. And I responded. I actually responded to them. I go,
Right.
It's kind of funny because I just turned to you just now and asked you about that, and you didn't seem to know what's going on. Like, seriously, like, you could, if you try the scam, like, really, I'm literally sitting next to him all day. You can't do your research. I can't even appreciate the hustle if that's the nonsense that you're gonna pull. That you try to do that scam.
Anyways,
But
just please
yeah,
don't.
just don't.
Long story short, there.
never would.
I just told the guy, bark up another tree there, because honestly, like, we're not doing that. No, because I don't get offended. I just know that our viewers are hopefully smarter than that. Just look for it. I have 40,000 followers. If somebody is messaging you other than that, just double check it. We all have followers. We all have accounts, and we're all pretty active on them. So you'll be able to, there's a lot that you guys could figure out. The most important thing is, please don't send us anything other than apple fritters or pizza or things like that. Just for fun, you could do that.
Yeah,
Don't
it's
send
all for fun. I actually,
funding.
you don't have to send.
Funding has been secured for the show.
Yes.
So do not send anything unless you want a super chat. That'd be nice, and we'll help you guys out as much as possible. Okay, so we just got a little bit more out of Apple. I mean, right there. Eventually we'll break that, and then we're going to need more funding secured for that. But Apple, exactly what we said would happen, but what we thought would happen, all the way to the downside there. It hit 165. There's that 165.06 that we said we're at. And then we also got some out at VWAP, or at the 50 period, which is happening right now. So I'm going to put it out right there and get another piece out, hopefully at 15s. And then let's just see what happens here moving forward with Apple against the day's high. That's the only reason that we're shorting that. And again, our average price short, you can see it right now. It's the same average. I think it was 37s, and our out was going to be 50s right there on a break. So that's 13 cents worth of a hit. That take right there, 06, gives us 3-1, which is why we did that. So hopefully Apple can now fall. We just got another bid there.
Yeah, just I wanted to talk about Zoom quickly, but you're going to have to, like, as I mentioned, again, the position board. But I have to use a black chart here. It is what it is. If I show you my other chart, which I will in a second, it's kind of screwing up. But if you look at the 67 level, it's starting to reject that pretty heavily. You had the Microsoft news, and it bounced to the upside on Zoom. It's rejecting 67. Next available pop, I think, is going to be a fade. But if it fills in the gap, you're probably looking for some longs down around 64 on Zoom. The reason I'm showing you that chart, as I mentioned, is this is what my other chart looks like. It basically like starts on a volume spike, and I have nothing else in there. Thank you very much for this. Thanks for the super chat there, Kenny Means. This is how you eat pineapple on pizza: barbecue chicken with pineapple and jalapeno. You know what? I have heard this multiple times, that I should give it a chance, especially with jalapenos. I love spicy food, and I have no issues with that. So at some point, I promise you, I will try that. I just genuinely don't like pineapple on pizza. Like, I'm not saying it for, like, it's just me being me. I just don't like it. So to me, it's not a thing. It's not real. But I'll give that one a shot. If I always tell my daughter you should try everything once, I will basically eat anything once if it's food, and then tell you if I like it or don't like it. It's true, Sharif. I will more or less try just about anything because, quite frankly, like, life is pretty boring if you're not willing to try new things. But I've had pineapple on pizza multiple times. I think it sucks. But jalapeno's fantastic. And thank you for that super chat. I'm about to get out of INAB. It never really, so it didn't really break in consolidation. Can I go to my 15? Is that any good? Yeah, I like the 15-minute chart here. So it did this. Again, weird stuff happening for me on the 17th. I have all these phantom, what happened today is showing up on the 17th on my charts. A lot has been going on since I logged over there and came back. I don't know why. But I had the short up, down. It bounced off $3. And if it doesn't hold this higher, I guess lower high, then I have to get out. Not necessarily break even, but probably around this 340 level. I'm thinking about whether I want to reload it one time in front of the 50, which I might actually do here, like one little pop over 40s. I might take a shot reloading at 50s and then back into that $3 level. As a matter of fact, I have talked myself into it it doesn't have a ton of volume. There's really not a lot of volume into this move right now as it's trying to bounce. You can see volume really tapering off. Just make sure you guys can actually see that. Not a lot. So I might short this one at the 40 to 45 level on a retrace here, and then give it to the lower high at 50, play it back into the $3. It was just a decent level on the daily chart. That's all. Where it happened to turn around, and when I say that, this is what I mean. Like, you can see this is 3, that's $3.50, that's $5. Like, you had a nice little supply zone there that I wanted to short off of. So as long as that one works, I'll get into it one more time, and then we'll see what happens. Zoom might break that to the downside. So it looks like that channel could break. I'll still short the pop if I can get 60, close enough to 67.
Okay, so I was just thinking here, yeah, so I don't know, the position board is going to come off and on, but I just got another fill there at 165 flat, 165.02 actually, that I was bidding, so we actually get that, sorry, 04, my bad. We did get that fill, we were just sitting there, came back in right into us again, so we're going to take that now on Apple. All right, XPEV moving around as well, Meta's back, oh man. So we went short Meta. Look what Meta did. Oh, okay, hold on. I got to show you this again.
Oh, my goodness.
It did the exact same thing. I got to give a shout out to Michael Noss because at some point I'm going to have to get a scanner that is working for me here because nothing to do with trade ideas. I need to set it up and get that going because look what happened. This came right back. What kind of a scanner I'm looking for is, and I'm sure Trade Ideas can do this, I'm going to talk to Michael about it and get it figured out and then share it with all of you if you have that. It's only because there's so many names. You could just do it yourself. Like, I don't need a scanner for this, but this is why I shorted Apple. Because Apple went all the way back into the high of the day again, which was early. I don't need something that's a high at daybreak all the time. It's just like this is a region right there that we were already at this morning with all these top wicks. So when we just ripped to there, like basically from 212 to 214 in a half hour, like look how this looks and see, we didn't short it. And then look at this. You know, if you're gonna look at these trades, they're very similar. Here's Apple ripping right into the day's high. And the only reason why we shorted this was because we were into the day's high. And that gave me sort of the, you know, kahunas, I guess, to short it. Because,
inclination.
No, I just kind of meant the balls. To hold it here because it came up to 165.50, which I had a direct out. Like I knew where my out was so that when I put on a comfortable amount of shares there, you know, it allowed me to do this move back to the downside, right? And so trading stock is not necessarily about predicting the future. I mean, it's nice when you can do that and it feels good when you get it right. It's more just about things happening again, pattern recognition, understanding maybe potential that news could have on a stock, time of day. I mean, it's all kind of patterns, right? So figuring out what to expect, when to expect it, and when a lot of stocks go right back into levels, like look at Apple right now, it's falling down, right? Like it's not London Bridge or anything, but you know, it comes into a level, doesn't break it, then sometimes it has that trajectory of a downside push there. So,
oh, give me a break.
Anyways, yeah, I missed that move on Meta. So that was a name that I wanted to look at one more time there. I
just missed INAB too.
Yeah,
That's
you see,
nonsense.
so it's probably something similar.
So I just missed that INAB by like maybe 3 cents up there. It tried to get up and give me that re-entry in the short side. Now it's already starting to come back down. If it pops, we'll try to go for it again. Even I might take a scalp trade on Amazon off the 106. But we teed it up, and now she is here. We've got Brendan at the desk, joined by Danielle Shea.
All right, thanks so much, guys. Yeah, as promised and teed up a little bit earlier, Danielle Shea, VP of Options at Simpler Trading, back with us on a Monday to tee up. Ms. Shea, how are you? Good to see you.
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good, good. Why wouldn't they just put Apple this week as well, and then we could just get it all over with in one shot and be done with it? But we'll get to that. Yeah, we'll tee up what is obviously to this point the biggest week of this current earnings season here, and talk about all the big ones that are to come. But I want to get your take first on Tesla. I know you were talking with Sharif last week a little bit on not only the CapEx side of things. We get more information on that this morning with revised guidance to the upside on what they're planning on spending, but also This new Model Y, which is kind of interesting, coming to Canada of all places.
Well, are you going to get one? That's my first question.
Nope.
So when you look at Tesla, I mean, first of all, I was pretty disappointed by the lack of a move higher going into the earnings report. That's a pretty typical pattern that we see in Tesla, and we didn't get that this quarter because of the continued price cuts. Then, of course, when the earnings report came out, it was definitely weaker than what I would have wanted to see. So from a trading perspective, I think that one was a big disappointment, but I will point out a few things about this. Number one, I normally see the NASDAQ fall, pretty well along with a bearish move in Netflix and Tesla, and that didn't happen here. So, A, the NASDAQ's pretty resilient. And then B, when you look at the actual report and you look at what they're doing, yes, of course, you did have margin compression, but that's something they've been saying they're going to do for a long time. That was the idea behind creating so many gigafactories and increasing production, was they wanted to be able to cut prices to make those vehicles more affordable. So when you look at, the overall game plan, yes, it took a hit this quarter, but I think in the long term, Tesla remains an AI company, and they're going to, have FSD out. They're going to be selling that product to all these people that are now able to, buy the cars at a lower price point. They got the Cybertruck coming out. So I think long term, we're still on track, but I was disappointed in the move last week.
Yeah, a ton to consider as well as far as what the overall company is doing. But I mean, they had that launch with SpaceX back on Friday. That was just incredible. Starlink is a whole nother conversation. So a lot obviously on Elon's mind. But we get another Texas factory to come. We get another Mexico factory that was going to be in the works, apparently already in the works. So yeah, the spending continues for Tesla, 2.5% here today. We'll see as we go forward. Before we get to some of the bigger names that are to come this week, I want to touch on one that's tomorrow morning actually, and that is Spotify, because it's one of those names that can give us pretty good opportunity typically around earnings, but has kind of taken a back seat in the past couple of earnings quarters because they, let's be honest, haven't been that good. But give us your take here on SPOT to come tomorrow morning.
So when you look at Spotify, this one's gotten pretty creamed, but what I do like about this chart is the fact that it's holding the low right now, and we've seen a shift in trend. So it held that low at 69. We're seeing that trend shift higher. And then specifically last quarter, we had this move where it gapped higher by 9.4%, and this move kept going. So what that tells me is that the tide is shifting on this company. One quarter is not a huge deal. But if we can get another positive quarter, 2 in a row, then we could end up seeing some bottoming price action like we've seen, with Meta and with Netflix. And so we could end up getting quite a bit of a retracement if they can come through on this earnings report.
The first to come tomorrow with two of the biggest of the big, Microsoft and Alphabet, Google, obviously going to be watched by the majority of not only investors but traders. But there's a few other names that are coming tomorrow that are kind of interesting as well. We've seen these clean energy related semiconductors have huge moves. Enphase, ENPH, another one that's going to report. But let's start with Alphabet. There's a ton of different angles we can kind of approach this with. The AI side, obviously, with Bard just last week, in fact, getting to a point where it can not only write code but correct code for engineers, but that's something that obviously ChatGPT has been doing from day one. So we can let's talk about Google to start things off, and then I want to get your thoughts on YouTube as well.
So here's the thing with Google. I mean, Google's still down pretty significantly from that all-time high, but when you look at the variety of product segments that it has, I mean, for me personally, I am buying shares in Google. I think it's a bear market buy because, I mean, you have all these product segments, and yes, they are cyclical. They're being impacted by the overall macroeconomic conditions, but this company is not going anywhere. And so for me, looking at the potential of AI, going forward, yes, there are trailing Microsoft currently, I believe, but when I look at the fact that, we've kind of found a low here, it's possible for us to hold that low and start, trading higher if we can just get some good news out of this company. I think YouTube is the way of the future. Of course, they saw a big burst throughout 2020, 2021 when people were going to YouTube and they had this high growth time frame. But comparing that to now is not really the same thing. And so I don't really think it's fair to say, oh, they're not growing at the same rate as they were during the pandemic. So to sum it all up, I wouldn't be surprised if they did trade lower post earnings because they've had a few different issues over the last few quarters. But I'm still buying the stock on a long-term basis because ultimately I want to bet on this company.
And on that note, I wanted to get your take on that. Where do you look to, as far as what the move could potentially be if it is downside? Where do you look to as far as where to put some orders?
So when you look at a Google chart right now, you're sitting right up above an 8 EMA. The options market is pricing in a $4.67 move. So, at the current price of 106, maybe a downside move, we get down into 100. 100 is a really nice area of support. And if we did fall to that zone, that is not concerning to me. If a company does actually have what's called a 2x move or twice what the market makers are pricing in the options market, let's say it falls $8, $9, $10, that's a moment in time where I look at it and I say, oh man, they're still going to be struggling over the course of the next quarter because it's a twice what is expected move. So, I think down into 100 is still a good buy. And then if you look at the upside here, I do think that it makes sense to target 110 and then upwards into 115. So just on the shorter term basis.
All right. I want to make sure we get through all of these. So let's keep going here. Microsoft on the other side of the AI battlefield coming up tomorrow night as well. What do we do with Softy?
I think Microsoft is going to rule the world. ChatGPT, in the beginning, I thought it was something kind of funny and type some, some funny prompts in there. But after the past couple months and seeing what it's capable of doing, that partnership with OpenAI, is just going to be massive for them because they can integrate that into all of their tools. And so definitely buy and hold on Microsoft. With Microsoft specifically on earnings, historically, if you look at the last 12 quarters, they've done really well trading higher post earnings, especially after the report. So oftentimes, we'll see a little bit of just like a slight downward move. For example, Microsoft has a $10 expected move. So what we'll see sometimes on a weak quarter on Microsoft is it will trade lower by that $10. Again, a normal move. Because it's the market maker expected move, and then buyers come in. Over the last 12 quarters, we've seen buyers come in and snap up the stock, regardless of if it ends up trading lower. So I usually like to place some bullish trades on Microsoft. This quarter, it's a little bit dicey just because we've seen downward moves the last 2 quarters. So I'm not going to get very aggressive with that. But I do like the post earnings trades in Microsoft, where if you get a dip, about $10, then you can usually come in and buy the rise after that.
All right, the other two obviously to come this week, Amazon and Meta. We touched on briefly there with Meta to kick things off. But there's so much to talk about and so much to look at this week. How do you really narrow your focus down when it comes to, is it Meta, is it Amazon, or do you have a plan for both?
So specifically what I look for is I look for patterns. I want to look for a fundamental overall pattern where I see rising EPS numbers over the course of the last 12 quarters. I like to see specifically if they have any kind of increased dividend. And then I also like to look at what the stock actually does after the report. Are we having buyers coming in and picking up those shares, even if it trades lower? Or are we having massive upside reactions? Because the thing is that oftentimes, and especially this quarter, we're probably going to see stocks where, it's a little bit lackluster and it trades lower. But those can be good opportunities. That's why you have to look at that fundamental aspect. Then what I like to do is I like to couple that with the trend, specifically with Amazon and with Google. The reason why I started buying more shares of these two companies is because we're starting to see a shift in trend. So if you look at an Amazon chart, you can see the way that it held the $81 price point, and then you can see that it's traded higher into earnings the last 2 quarters. So it's a short term to see that, shift in trend. Like, normally I would prefer to have a 2-year, 3-year, 4-year trend, but that's not the kind of market we're in. So when I'm starting to see that shift in overall price pattern, I have consolidation on the Amazon chart. Yes, it is up against key resistance right now, close to that value that it was at last quarter. But, for me personally, after the split and just for the long term, I want to continue buying this company. And, Google, it looks exactly the same. You've seen that low hold. You've seen the trend shift. Yes, the last 2 quarters, this stock did trade lower post earnings, but it didn't matter because people came back in and they bought it, prior to the report. So it's continuing to just chug and chug a little bit higher. So, trading lower on earnings isn't the worst thing. Oftentimes you can come in as a trader, and if they start rallying the next day, it gives you a really nice trade setup.
Given the extent of the moves that we've seen in most of these so far this year, almost to be expected at this point, I would think. It's the biggest of the biggest weeks as far as this earnings season is concerned. A ton of great insight, as always, guys. We'll get this cut and posted so everyone can go back and do some research and get ready for earnings. We appreciate it. As always, Danielle Shea, VP of Options over at Simpler Trading. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, always thankful when Danielle comes on and educates everybody. That's what it's all about, right? Like, earnings season is exciting for us as day traders, but you always have to think about like that swing aspect and where things can go when you're looking at a different time frame. I mean, I like that alphabet as well. I think you really can't almost go wrong there in the long term. And if you look at what's been happening, not many names have been sort of obvious, I want to say like obvious levels that you would expect to hold on the dip support. Like it held 90, it held 100. It's really not, it's still in the middle of the range here. We're not like breaking out like Amazon was this morning or trying to take out that big 108, but pretty darn close to it. I think we can certainly maybe get there. Just a couple of things. We have had some issues with the position board. So it keeps on like cutting in and out. That being said, I know they're working on it. At some point, I think Fahad's going to restart the whole thing, and then you might see it go away, and hopefully we can get that one squashed. And I want to shout out to Andrew Harris. So Ponzi Fonzie said, hey, can you shout out my friend Andrew Harris? I'm like, of course we can. You better believe it. We'll shout you out, Andrew. Hope you're having a fantastic day. David Kovacs has asked me about C3AI. This was, I thought Bed Bath & Beyond and C3AI would be a little bit more exciting than they were today. But if you look at where this bounced, so it bounced off the 200 period C3AI, and I wasn't there for it. So like, again, weird stuff for me on the 17th on my chart, so just ignore that. It's never been there. I had 2 shorts on it. First one good, second one bad, never went back to it. But it bounced off exactly the 200 period moving average, and it's just been doing nothing sideways. So that was the long in there, maybe a higher low. It's just a little bit far away from that bottom. In terms of trying to catch a bid, I'm not going there because I'm not putting up 50 cents worth of risk, actually plus because you have slippage, to try to get what? It's not really moving. The market's bouncing decently, and it's not going anywhere. It's still down 10%. So I can understand they get bouncing off a decent level. To me, underneath the 20 is a short till proven otherwise. It did get to that support level there today. I wish I could tell you that I had hung on to the shorts until then, but I didn't. I got wicked out at the open and never got back into this one. But a good bounce off the 200 today. I just thought it was a short into said level. Oh, that INAB might give me a chance to get in here. So I missed that curl. We're just talking about it at 340. I can leave it here. It's bouncing off 310. I'll short this into 350 of that lower high and then see if we get to $3 again. I'm not giving this to the high of the day. Did like the over under, which did give some favorable fills up there, but I'm not shorting this in front of 350 to give it to 380. Now I'll give it to that 355 or something like that. But I am looking for that short. I have been on the offer for the last couple of minutes, just never quite got the fill on INAB.
All right, yeah, always interesting to hear from Danielle there. And I'm still waiting for that Cybertruck to be delivered. I think that'll be hilarious. for that. But thanks, Danielle, for coming through again one more time, and we'll have her up as much as possible. People talked about wanting to get some more action as far as options and all that are considered.
Yes.
So Danielle Shea from Simpler Trading, you can definitely go find her out and see what's going on. So I still have the same position I've always had here. It's been Apple. Apple did dip down as soon as that interview started, and now it's kind of come back to the upside a little bit. We haven't got anything out. Still the same old, waiting for that top to break, and we'll get a little bit more short at that point again as the market made its dip down. But remember, we've been here in the afternoon before where it really hasn't gone too far one way or the other until maybe we get closer to that 350. So we're entering the power hour right now. And you know, it's been relatively, oh no. Yeah, that's right. I was going to go back to last week to see that, but then I have to go back through the weekend, and I don't know if my charts are going to load properly through that. But we'll have to wait to see, but hopefully we can still withstand some of that pressure right there. And the thing about it, this is the NASDAQ that I'm looking at. And, you know, those little bottom wicks right there at 1380, sort of matched with this little top wick here to 70. So I still feel like there's a little bit of pressure here on the NASDAQ to sort of continue its downside push there. It had a nice move to the upside. Let's see now if it takes this level out, and I want to get shorter on Apple until that does happen. So here, while Apple's getting a little more aggressive than the market, well, maybe not actually. It looks very similar now that I look at it. Here's the market right here. Apple about 5 or 6 straight candles upside, matches what we're doing here. So yeah, we're pretty close. So let's get more short into the 40s for Apple and then work off of that right now. Disney, been pretty exciting today. Well, it's because it broke 100, but it didn't hold. So we started the day above 100. We had that talk of job cuts and layoffs approaching that 4,000 mark. So we start the day above 100. What I mean was we broke 100 to the downside, and we really haven't been back there. And we're trying right now to get back into 100. So if 100 comes into play on Disney, I think that's also a pretty shortable area for us. Where did we get out of Google? So we got out of Google right here at 106.39 off these 105 bottoms. Again, another day's high. But this took out the high and kept going in there 30, 40 pennies. So 106 looking like a pretty good dip buy opportunity there for Google as well. I'm just checking back in on some of the names that we already got out of. So we already got out of Microsoft. That was good right there. Pretty much the high there. Came back, fell into 281. So all right, I'm just trying to figure out what trades we want to have moving forward. And honestly, Apple's still a very, very strong tech name. Google probably the strongest, up 1%. So
Google looks the strongest.
Right. So if we do, that's what I was going to say. So if we do think that this market is going to continue its march higher, then I think that Google can get to that level as well and take it out. So 106.60 looks like a good break spot for Google long.
Yeah, if there's one of these techs that looks like a long, it's Google. I was about to short DWAC, and then it's still only done 400,000 shares on the day. That's 2 bounces to the high, like 13 bottom, 13.65 double top. It sets up pretty well, but there's really not a lot of volume, which usually means short the pop when there's no volume. It's almost like it's too obvious. I might sit there and wait for 60 because there's no point chasing anything in the stock. There's not a ton of liquidity or anything. I did pay for the locates when I initially saw it spike, but if I get 60s, I'll give it just past the high of the day, take a shot at that one. David Kovacs asking about SI. Well, you were asking about a long in C3AI. I would say no. I would really say no. And the reason I'm saying that is, look, they're probably, like, it just might not exist. I don't know where, like, you're basically hoping for a squeeze. That's the best way of putting it. So we're not here to give financial advice. To me, you're looking for a squeeze on SI, and you're not really looking for anything else. The last time it gave you a trade, I think the dollar break is probably not bad when just looking at something that could set up for a trade as far as I'm concerned. Like the next time it goes to $1, I might look to take like a day trade off that level for a long play there. But again, that's just a day trade. This has been trending to the downside. It's going Bed Bath & Beyond at this point. So that's an ugly one, man. I can't really get excited about the long-term, I suppose, outlook for Silvergate. I just think they're in a world of hurt. I mean, you're in a market right now where you're having some of these banks that got beaten up there catch a bit of a bid and see some recovery. Silvergate was a little bit different in regards to their issues than, say, an FRC. And speaking of FRC, I am in it. It has not done anything. I'm now looking to scalp some of this out if it can make any kind of a bounce. Again, the volume is just dying down on this. So can it make a second move? we're reporting on, like this is reporting after market. There's a heavy short interest here in FRC. I would tend to think some shorts might start to cover going into those earnings, but maybe that's already happened in the early move. So we'll see what happens. I do want to find a way to scalp it and then add and then hold for a top of the day break. And I think it could definitely squeeze going into the close. Just hasn't really happened. And it might be a bigger move after market. I acknowledge that. Like if you're expecting a 50% move in FRC or something ridiculous like 25s and 30s, that's for after earnings. It made a decent move today. You did get better than 10% at one point. Not a guarantee. I just think there could still be some short covering that goes into the close here. If it happens, it happens, and that'll be a heck of a lot of fun. Coin is still just getting destroyed. If we're going to segue from Silvergate, it's just hanging out at the low of the day on Coinbase. Maybe it has a bounce in it. This is not a stock I want to bottom pick on. So I won't be going long this. If we could have had a power hour 55 short, I might have taken that. You see me do that in the afternoon before, but this can't even bounce 10 cents, let alone $1 at this point.
Right. I'm looking at this Apple and just trying to get a little bit more. That's basically all that we're trying to do against that 50 level. Let's let it take it out. Let's let it take that out for us to be wrong. I mean, you know, again, we just took another piece right there at 20, 26, 25. It's coming up. We could take another piece at 35. I'm just going to wait to 40, which is right here, which is the best fill that we've ever gotten right now. And then if we take out, if I just zoom back out, if we take out, that's the day high, happened right there at 9:30. If we take that out, that's 50. It's really 46s. But if we take out 50, then we're going to be gone, and that's fine. So, you know, this is where you could be comfortable with your losses. Like if that ever makes any sense. It's one thing to misstep and then be like, oh man, why did I do that? Like I explained on the midday show that I missed that stop on Microsoft. And then that pisses you off when you lose because it's kind of like a keystroke that should have had it. But you know, on this kind of a stock, if I were to lose 10 cents, 15 cents on the last piece of this because it starts to go up, take out the high of the day, then that's fine. I need to make money, and you know, going short on Apple right now is actually pretty well designed right there, and I actually like what we're looking at for that. But at the same time, I don't mind finding a short if there is like a pure short, and if there is going to be one, again, we can look at Microsoft. It's not going to come back here to the high of the day, and this is what I mean about shorting Apple, shorting Google, some of those names that are actually at the highs. Microsoft, I have no idea what happened to this name today. Just completely cracked down to the downside. We waited very, very patiently until 280 came. Once it did, it broke to the downside, and this is where I missed the stop. Bought some more at 279.50, hoping it would hold. It didn't. Crash came through. We were able to make the long back, a little bit back, but still a pretty disastrous name there for us is Microsoft. And then, you know, you could go short on this name against this VWAP, which I don't think is necessarily that bad at all. That's where we got out. We tried to get back upside right now. So instead of sort of fighting with Apple, you can almost get a cleaner win here on Microsoft if we wind up going short on this name. It's only 306. There's still lots of time to go. But against this 282, could be something there for us here on Softy. So I definitely think that that's worth looking at. If we do come up to like 281.75, which are getting pretty close to that right now, I'm going to start a new short position on Microsoft. It's down on the day. The market is down. So I'm going to go short on Microsoft, 281.75. Starter position for me right there. So we put Apple on. Apple working. Actually, Apple just came back down a little bit, but now it's starting to go back up. So let's take this opportunity to short some Microsoft. More of a pure play short rather than just days high.
Yeah, I just got that, finally got that INAB, finally got that fill at like 340 or just above it. My price will be 45 because I still have some residual shares from above. But Naresh just asked about Teladoc. Now, there's a name I have not heard in a long time.
Yes, sir.
If you don't know where that's from, then I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, we haven't talked too much Teladoc, and probably for good reason, in the last little while. But when you look at this one, and I just called up why it's probably worth mentioning. Hey, I can respect a breakout off the 50 period, and it's making some waves here, and there's been a few names out there in the healthcare space, in a general sense, in a broader sense, some of the, obviously like these guys being like telehealth. You've had a few deals go on, and sometimes that can help push up a stock. I feel like that's a little bit what's going on, but it's still breaking out on the daily past 26. and a lot of room, quite frankly, to resistance above that 30 range. So I would not be surprised if you had a little carry through the next few days. What I'm here to say is I'm probably setting myself an alert for 33, 34 on the stock. And if it breaks 200, I just want that. Like, I look at this and say, why are you not shorting this? Once it gets above 32, 33, it's going to try to squeeze. It probably starts at like 32, and then you look for that zone into 35, right? And everyone that goes long up here, you're looking to short into it. That's the way I like to play these. When I think, honestly, quite frankly, it probably doesn't have too much business going up. I want to wait for it to make the move, squeeze past a level, and then patiently wait for a short. It could set up like a 29, 30 break along the lines, but we'll see what happens if it does. Back to what we are watching. FRC, what are you doing here? Back above VWAP. Okay, well, you need to do more than just be above VWAP. I got offers. You need to fill those offers. I'm sitting in front of 70. I'm sitting in front of 80. We're looking for something other than a 10 to 15 cent pop. I don't necessarily need a home run on this stock. I think the home runs in FRC, if they're going to come, it was either this morning or it's tomorrow after the earning. But we'd like a little something. That would be nice for you. So this one back above VWAP starting to go. Oh, goodness. So I thought that was going to happen, and then INAB. INAB. I don't know what the company's name is, guys. So if you know INAB, whatever. Yeah, I just got that 320. I'm going to bid out in front of 310. Just popping to the higher time frame so you guys can see again. I feel like when it gets back into 3, this is why there's all kinds of a bid off the 3 level. Previous resistance, I was shorting essentially that little zone in here. I always wait for it to get to that price, squeeze that price, and then get into an upper level, not like a chop zone. And that's where I want to take it out. So to me, I was only ever shorting above 3, into 3, that 350, 360, where it ended up topping out, or I was waiting for $5, and then we'll go for it there. So I did the over-under there. I just got a scalp trade. I will take another leg out in front of 3, and then hold on to something. If 3 does break, I'd look at that 275. Now keep in mind, this is still, the bulls are winning this one at this point. You know, they've got some good longs in here. There's basically been one rejection, and then the short has been off that zone. You could have played it off $3 as well. I just felt like it was a little more overextended when it makes that secondary break. Like the 3 short's the one everybody takes, and then the break after that is the one that you have a bunch of people that have already gotten stopped out here. And what I've found as someone who likes to do these mean reversions is in this market, it's been a little bit more successful to kind of ignore the obvious break that almost everybody is on, allow those guys to get stopped out, and then you take the short off the next level up. It's worked for Bed Bath & Beyond for me. It's worked on Silvergate for me. Here, remains to be seen. I mean, I'm still in it, but so far so good. Brendo?
Not a lot of volume behind this, but Starbucks just popping up on a day high alert there. Took out the highs on decent volume anyways. They just announced they're revitalizing the Starbucks mission, which apparently is going back to their original and the original idea and mission statement for the overall company. So just kind of reiterating the fact that they're going back to what got them to where they are today, apparently, for Starbucks. A minor note, but day highs anyways.
Charging lots of money for things that are the same, and then everyone believes that it's premium. It's a heck of a fantastic idea, and I have all the respect in the world for them for doing it. Great company. Shout out to them. Me personally, I'm not a huge Starbucks person. They had a really good cookie that I would always get when I went there. They have in second cup. I could really go for those cookies. Come on, FRC. Like I'm right here. Just gimme always gets. I'm just looking for that little first push up so we can get a little scalp trade on, then hold for the highs. I mean, the big tech names aren't doing a ton for me. I got into DWAC and maybe should have just ignored it. You know, got into DWAC on that little dip and pullback. I got 55s. I want to add to it. I want to give it to 75. When there's no volume, usually these retrace, and there's no volume. But it's also 315 or almost 315. So we are running out of time for that to move. It's the small cappers that have piqued my interest because I see FRC and INAB still doing volume. I'm sure there's something else out there that's probably moving, but not a heck of a lot else. Don Lemon squeeze all he could. There's a lot of good Don.
Is there?
No,
did they find out why? Was he let go, or did we ever?
Yeah, guys, I saw a couple of tweets in there. So was he fired? Yeah. Oh, he was fired? Okay. Well,
I'll leave my comments for next time. I don't, whatever. I don't know enough about it. I don't even subscribe to CNN or Fox News or.
I haven't really watched
him on cable here in Canada.
I haven't really watched him a lot in the past. I've had my issues with him and like the New Year's stuff, but
Sexual harassment? I have no idea.
We don't get it. We don't get into that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we don't know. We'd rather not discuss
and I don't really
it.
know anything about it. I just know that obviously the reason why DWAC is moving is because of Tucker, leaving, and the speculation. Like, quite frankly, that's what DWAC does. Like, you wait for it, it does nothing, it barcodes. You're either sitting along hoping for it to move, or you wait for a headline to come in. The headline comes in, and I short the pop. So sometimes you get run over. I might get run over here. Obviously, that could be the case. It hasn't really filled me. I'm waiting. Come on. There you go. See, I put it up. I'm like, I put you on the spotlight. I talk about it, and then you see I am short, and it could take out that high. There's not a lot of volume, and a lot of times when there's no volume, I like to play the retracement only and not the breakout. 400,000 shares is essentially nothing, but also means you don't go ham with this one way or the other. Again, that's what DWAC looks like on the daily speaks for itself. Quite frankly, that's why I believe in shorting the pops, but this isn't even that big of a move. Like, it could really, if it was at 15, 16, then that's where you put like a bigger trade on, because that's a much more significant move. This is just a minor one. And again, the reason behind it, I think it has everything to do with just the Tucker Carlson. If there's something else moving DWAC, you guys let me know. I don't think that's true, and I haven't seen anything else. So that one kind of moving, but we did finally get some FRC. So let's go. I mean, come on.
Congratulations!
I think I will be surprised if FRC isn't like the stock that's the hot chick tomorrow. Like, if this isn't the hot chick reporting earnings. This stock was $120 something before this whole crisis. It's been barcoding 15 to 17. It finally broke 15. Hasn't even gotten to 17 yet, which is another monster level. So I'm hoping we can get one last push in here and tomorrow make a whole swath of trades. I don't think I'd be looking short on this tomorrow until it gets to at least above 25 bucks, at least. But right now we're just happy it got above VWAP, quite frankly.
Yeah, okay, so we're pretty loaded up now. We did get our Apple short there at 40, needless to say. So now we have a pretty decent sized position. It's not the biggest one we've had on today, but into the close, one that we're pretty happy with. If we can get a fill down here near 30 or something. Actually, I put a 26 bid here. What this is I was just looking at Apple. This is the NASDAQ here, trying to find out, and maybe 30 minutes is a little bit too broad or too big of an area here to look at some of this. But it's these little levels right here. We keep wicking to the top. 13,060, and we just got a little bit lower on that wick, 13,062, and it keeps on trying to go and then pushing itself back down. So, we have to be responsible. And if this does start to, really crunch us, okay, Apple. I see what you're doing, Hal. I'll take another piece out at 28 if I can get it, which we just got. Then, we could get squoze back up to the upside. Shout out to my guy Prad back there. But, 130450, that needs to. So just like we have these wicks right there, I'm expecting to see a little bit of a test back down here. So like a target area, 13,040, 13,038. It's only 10 handles from here, and we're talking NASDAQ handles, not ES handles. So a lot easier to get 10 handles on a NASDAQ move than it would be on an ES move. So that's something that I'm just looking for right now. Is a potential push to the downside right now in the futures off of some of those top wicks that we just talked about. Like there's that 13,063 right there, and then there's 66. So we just made them now, and there goes Apple. Like good thing we got some out there. We got some 20. I had to actually punch out at 28 because we were at 26, and that's where the move went to right there. So, yeah. Oh, and we did get more shares in Microsoft. So there it is. My average price right here on Microsoft hasn't changed. It's 72, and we just got a 60, which was too early, and then we got a 50. So far, so good on the Microsoft short. I may push another bid here, 58s or so, just to make sure we capture that 15 cents. It's really this Apple trade that doesn't seem to want to go down too much further than the 50 period. So I'm going to put another bid here. If we can get a 30, we'll get it. Then hopefully we'll get our 26s. But we are okay, there it is. We just got that. Hopefully we get that was actually 31. Hopefully we can get it back down here, into these bottoms, take out this 50 period. Then we'll see as the NASDAQ looks to be turning over a little bit now through the 50 period. And we're going to hold the two biggest names. There's no two bigger names. in the NASDAQ than the two that I hold. So we're going to continue to watch out for that. Probably should be shorting the futures if we're going to do this, but we are short right now Apple and Microsoft, hoping that at least one, if not both, can retrace a little bit and take out their 50 periods.
Okay, I see you guys. I'll put a bet out there, but we'll just make it, will the ES be red or green, okay? We'll make it really simple, ES red or green, and we'll give you guys 15 minutes to make your bets. So will the S&P, I'm just going to say ES. You guys know I mean the S&P 500 futures.
They should
be green or red. As we go to Brendan, the bet will be back up, and I'll give you guys 15 minutes. FRC, by the way, got to fill 1575 as we go to Brendo.
Ugly day, guys, for Coinbase. Just made another low here, all the way back to 54, which is a huge level on the daily chart, obviously. There was some issues this morning, technical side. Apparently, some customers were getting an empty error on the app saying their accounts were empty. They came out and said right away their funds are safe and they're working on a problem to fix the error. But going back to last week, remember, they said they may consider leaving the U.S. market if these regulations continue in the direction they're going.
Oh, that was Coinbase, right, Brendo? Okay, yeah. So, although when we had Kevin O'Leary on, some of you guys, back and forth there about FTX and, some of that kind of stuff, that was the one important thing that he had mentioned, that, the feds hate crypto right now, especially in the U.S. So, all that kind of stuff, and with good reason, I guess. There's been a lot of people hurt by crypto, by irresponsible management, whether or not be on the exchange side or on the side of whoever's owning crypto, or just, people putting money into some of these pump and dumps that just haven't worked out and have been, quite frankly, scams, right? And so you're gonna have to wait to see what's going on with all these kind of shit coins and all that, but that's not a good look there.
No,
leaving
really
the
isn't.
Largest, Binance, I think, is going to be the largest exchange, but definitely leaving the U.S. is going to hurt a name like Coinbase.
A little bit.
Just a little bit,
That's-
on that one. So we just got another fill on Microsoft, taking
ugly.
again 25 cents on that I guess it was 20 cents as we come in on that fill. So we'll wait to see if we can get more out on that one. And like I said, the 50 period on all of this would be nice, man. That's only 45, so we can get there. This is the 50 period that I'm really worried about. I'm going to put another bid at 30s right now because I'm not really getting any love much lower than 30 right now on Apple. And it's not like I'm stopping these moves. I'm not even here. The moves are stopping themselves.
Stop bidding 30 and it'll go.
But I'm not even bidding 30. That's the problem. I put it now.
No, that's not 30?
Well,
no, I see what you're saying.
I keep getting out.
No,
like my outs,
it bounces, then you bid.
Right, my outs are like 32, 31s. I want this thing to go down. I was bidding here at 26. I canceled that to punch out right there. So, yeah, I'm still sitting there. Yeah, if I was bidding with 1 million shares at 30, I could understand why. But even then, man, in these day and ages, man, 30 million shares already done on Apple, they should have no problem filling any order, really. You
And
just gotta
sometimes
be
late in the
right.
day, like size will come in.
Probably
it's like,
not right.
ooh, that's an opportunity for me to get shares. But a couple of things here. Come on, don't flush. You don't have to flush to the downside, but it'd be nice if you broke $3 INAB. I got the 340s, got 20s, got 10s out. Now it's basically the same thing as before. I got some overfills before. I don't think I'll get a 360 again, but I want that $3 to break into the downside. That's what we're looking for. And Zion has twice in the chat said this. So the bets that I'm talking, we do these like fun bets. You guys can see there if you're in the chat, and if you're a sub, then you can do this. If you're a subscriber, it's just simple like, is the ES red or green? I'm not eating a pineapple pizza. I haven't even made a bet what I think just yet, and we'll close it up in about 10 minutes. However, if you want me to eat an entire pineapple pizza, then Fahad and I have to agree when we're doing the race. And okay, maybe not an entire, I might be able to eat a whole pizza, but that's not a good idea. But that's not, I'll eat, that's easy. Think of something better, because if Fahad beats me,
is too basic.
Me doing an eating challenge bet, I'm just going to give you guys a heads up. Even if I don't like the food, it's not a big deal for me. I'll eat just about anything. So, quite frankly, come up with something better if I lose a race to Fahad. And what you just said in my ear, quite frankly, that's disgusting, Fahad. Okay? Even though it's not going to happen, I'm not doing that. And
Nobody's doing that.
And I'm not saying it on air either, by the way. So just think of, Fahad's in my ear because I mentioned the race that we're
He's trying to
do
figure
one
out
day.
different bets.
But just think,
The race is happening.
The race will happen.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah,
and then we'll figure it out from there. We're going to have some good time doing it. Whether or not maybe, we'll you know what? Maybe it'll be something like Fahad can like make a poster or something with him crossing the line, you behind it, then he could show it for like a month on the show.
How about he has to wear a shirt of like...
Right. Well, he might have to do something different.
Yeah, like we could like get a printed shirt of like Fahad just
Fahad has such a big
kind of like
ego.
tripping and falling, and I'm like doing like
something about how it has to say like I lost to Neil easily or something. And he has to wear that, and we'll flash that around. But anyways, we'll figure that out as it's 3:23. The one thing that hasn't happened enough.
Yes.
Hola. Like and subscribe today.
No, that's not happening, TRL. No. It's actually...
Like and subscribe.
No, so TRL just said Fahad traded in Neil's account.
No.
So there's actually...
I can lose whatever bet.
No, but you really can't do
that's a
that
legal
also.
thing,
Like,
yeah.
A, you would never want someone else trading your
If I
account.
put my
But it's
glasses on.
actually, there are hard rules against that. Like, someone can't trade somebody else's account.
No,
You
we have
can't do a
signed,
day trade of the
registered
world.
papers.
You're registered, it's your account. No one's touching it but you. Like, it's just... And that's actually a really big deal. So we couldn't even do that if we wanted to. I'm going to...
Fahad already tells us all the trades that we need to make. Anyway.
Of course, 90% of my... He
like
says
I
in the
would not
ear-
be short Apple if it wasn't for Fahad.
He told me to go short INAB.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he told me to go long FRC.
We're all completely joking about all of
Clearly
this.
we're joking.
Let
me
we
just
make
go...
independent decisions here. Sometimes we can get in trouble.
No, we've already done the one chip challenge.
You know, the one thing is, forget about all this. We'll get all that. Don't forget about it. We will get to it. I just want to announce something in the chat here, and we don't talk about our competition or anything like that because, quite frankly, there is no competition.
Okay.
So I was getting to that. I was just leaving. That was like the cliffhanger there. But is that, for someone to say that somebody named Trey's Trades is pumping Bed Bath & Beyond again, everybody go long, like that's not trading. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not throwing shade at other people. Right, and it's like if you wanted to do that and go long because you think that somebody else is going to sit there and pump something, that's fantastic. I mean, and you can get the longs. You can go long on that, right? Neil and I will sit here and talk as reasonable day traders that have been doing this for years and years, and that take reasonable live trades right in front of you as we speak. I'm not going to get long at 18 cents and then just start shilling Bed Bath & Beyond to all of you. And someone even said like, oh, he also pumped up AMC and that worked. Okay, well, I mean, there's also a lot of people that are holding the bag on some of these things. So you are responsible to hit the key and trade however you want. Neil and I will sit here and continue to hopefully talk reasonable and sit here and show you how to make money trading rather than by following boards. And if you wanted to do that, that is cool. But that's not something that we'll look at. Hey, look, money's green, and it's made a lot of different ways.
It's made a lot of different ways.
But that's not the purpose of why people, I hope not, are watching us. Like, I'm in Apple and Microsoft. Like, besides taking a phone call from Tim Cook here coming up pretty soon, I don't have any insights as to what the hell is going to happen with Apple, nor do I think that I can do anything about making this stock go down. I can look at it.
So he didn't just call you?
I had to put in a voicemail.
Okay.
It's just one of those things.
Well, let us know what he said.
He knows I'm on the show anyway. He's a big fan.
Yeah, come on, Tim Cook. Don't call the man when he's on the show.
Yeah. So anyways, I just want to clarify that.
When did you put the glasses on?
I put the glass on so I could see the trades clearer now because, I was here Friday. We had a huge winner.
No, but you only put them on when you have like a headache or something because of the light.
Oh, yes.
Usually.
Yeah. I changed that.
Oh, okay.
I just have them on now because
sure.
I'm an idiot. But also because, remember you said about how somebody was like tapping the screen to make the stocks go down?
You know who that was too, right?
I'm going to say they're probably not trading anymore because if that's a strategy, then I don't. But this is very similar to that, right? As if my
No word of a lie. Check the chat who it was. It's true they're not trading anymore. It was.
Yeah. So so they're not trading anymore. So that's probably
it's true.
And I'm sure that if I make that comment to him, he would realize that was an idiotic thing to do.
He'd do
but
it all
it's
the
fun.
time.
You got to have those
You
little
should
rituals.
bust his balls over because he legitimately would do it.
Yeah. Okay. I will. I'm going to bring that up to him.
I mean, like he would be. Come on, hit the screen. Like,
Yeah,
first of all, don't
funny.
hit your screen. I don't know why I just did that to mine. Like, what do I want
That
to
was
do?
like something that happened
switch
all
off?
the time, or just when you're stuck.
Oh, but like so what would happen is if we were stuck,
Right.
Because this other
You're like,
trader,
hit the bid,
we used to trade penny stocks, and this is way back in the day. And so if it was sitting there barcoding, and we're kind of stuck, like maybe average into a long,
So you're trying to
it's
like
at the
push
bottom
the bid
end.
down or something.
Yeah, it's just like yeah, go up. It's doing nothing at
I got
lunchtime. Like, you're hitting your screen's not going to do anything to it. Quite frankly, that's obvious. But
I hope not. Yeah.
You know, everyone has their own thing out there. But do not try to trade based off of like, oh, this stock is going to moon or this or that. Just have a reason to get in. Now, a lot of people were excited about FRC today, and if there's a lot of chatter about the stock, well, it broke a major level and it reports tonight. So to me, that's not pumping the stock. That is, it's breaking a technical level. It reports. There's a lot of people short. There's a lot of room to the upside. There's a thesis there. So it's stair-stepping up. I don't know why I wasn't back in this at 15 even. Oh, I do know why. Okay, yeah, this is not. Okay, so it's true, but I don't like making excuses. But I know I went over there and was trading on the midday from 11 to like about 2 o'clock, and everything was backward for me. I set my layout up, and it's like everything's on this side instead of that side. And I was really, it was like, I told Brendan, it's like driving on the other side of the road. And I missed a couple of opportunities because, quite frankly, I was kind of adjusting to everything, and I did miss a 15 reload because I wicked out there with the anticipation of if it bounces off 15, I should take it. And then I missed another lower high. Then I came back in the afternoon, and we have it here. But there's not much of an excuse for not having that 15 long. If you're trading this stock today and you like the long off 15, well, it behooves you to have a 15-10 long in there, maybe like a 15-25, which you can see that I don't. So it's been a good stock today, but I missed some opportunities to get back into it. Just popping, and again, oh, see it? Phantom trading on the 17th. On my 15-minute charts. That never happened, obviously. You can see that's just a mirror image of today's. But that INAB, it just keeps on catching a bid. If you're bullish on this stock, this $3, if it holds 3, it's now $3.30, and this is still holding $3. So it is just bouncing every time it gets here. I'm not going to short this again. If it gets back up to 340, I'm not taking it because, quite frankly, this 3 needs to break. And if it doesn't break, this is probably going to make a shot in the afternoon, in the later afternoon into the close, if not at 4 o'clock. So big level at 3. It's bounced now there twice. I've been shorted twice, and neither time has it been able to get through that price. I'm just going to pop a bid down at 275 or so, just in case it breaks. I'm not watching because I think it's going to huadunk through that level. Likely catch a bid in here, somewhere around that 70, and I just want to get that flush, or I'll just trail it out, pretty much break even.
Okay, whoosh. All right, well, I mean, the glasses are on. We're trying to go here. It's 3:30. I want to say thank you to everybody. We could do a likes count right now, maybe quickly, just to see what, oh, wow, this is what I look like with the glasses on? Okay, we'll have to do that. 583. Normally when I'm checking this thing, we're at 7 and change. 585. Let's see if we can hit the like button a couple more times here, as we've been on a lot today, and we're getting it all figured out, man. We're gonna figure out you know, what the right situation for hosts are for you. But no matter what, man, we're back here live every single day, and it's a big week. And the thing is, if you hit the like button, there's numerous good things can happen to you, and that is that whatever stock you're holding, you know, the earnings could possibly come in your favor if you hit the like button. So that's something that a lot of people, you know, misunderstand, is that could happen. You know, if you do hit the like button, there is a very good possibility that stocks will move in your favor. Not scientific.
I hit the like button,
it's
and
karma.
Context Logic became a good company.
Exactly. It's
Isn't
like
that amazing?
karma.
The other week I hit the like button, and Context Logic went to $10.
See?
And it was a monster. Now, granted, it was a reverse stock split, but still, I mean, not that bad of a best. Look, you guys know it's BS. But yeah, Context Logic went to the upside. Remember, we were talking about this the other day. If there's one stock that you didn't want to own, and this was it was the first thing that came to mind. I can probably come up with a better stock. It's not to dump on them. But they have been, ever since, we've seen this time and time again, reverse split. Just watch that first price level it goes to and start trading off of that. And really, it got to that 10, the shorts off that 10. When this gets back down into 7 even, I might look for a little dip buy action and just see, like, as a day trade, I mean, like, not a swing trade because I don't want to own the thing, but off that $7, and it could get there sometime this week. So, you know, kind of look at that first range it puts in and then see what happens. I'm going to close the betting for will the ES turn green. It's basically just back and forth. It's like 0.2 to the upside, 0.02 to the upside, 0.03 to the downside, back and forth there. I'll close it up in 5 minutes. It is $714 million to sell on the early look for the imbalances. So we're looking at sell side imbalances at least early. That's one of the bigger numbers we've seen in the last couple of weeks, I want to say. I haven't seen too many bigger than that. What I'm going to do here, though, is the longer this does not move, I'm just going to take another leg out at this 70. There's a bit of a seller here, 75 to 80 on the FRC. And if it breaks that channel, I think then it can get into the high 16s. But I'm going to get another leg out here because I feel like it's going to dip on me. So it's going to take some profit. Only 25 minutes left in the day anyways. I basically have just put this one on. And INAB. That lasts longer than I realized. And then DWAC, which quite frankly is a nothing burger. I got the pop. I got the short into 75, so I actually end up with essentially a 60 price short, but no flush on DWAC. As a matter of fact, it bounced off my first bid at 52. So I'm going to be short this into the close, or it's going to break the high. Only long is that FRC, and even that's starting to roll over.
All right, we're going to try one more time here. We just did get stopped out. I'm going to go 165, 55, or 56 here on Apple. Just one last chance. As we didn't, the thing is, we didn't take out that high, but Apple ran it anyways right there. So we got out at 53s. We're going to try to go back short. We're just short right now. 46 is not good. But let's just give it another 10 cents to the upside here, just in case that was sort of a run to the high. Like, we got out of Microsoft a little bit there as I noticed that there was a little bit of a run there. Just thinking, like, let's get out and make sure that we at least capture profit on this day. Damage not pretty much nothing. I mean, we just went short again at 40 there and then got out at 53. So yeah, I guess 15 cents. But we just put on what we had here. So we'd already made that 15 or 10 cents. Remember, it didn't go down as much as we thought it would right there. So sucks to get run there, but that's okay. We're back in. Let's just see what happens now. And this is a little bit of a revenge trade, but just a matter of the fact is it didn't take out that top there. So I wanted to give it one more look. That's all. So if it takes it out again, this is going to be a 10-cent hit on Apple. Not even a problem. Like, even if you have 300 shares, like $30. Like, it's not a big deal here in case we do pull back here on Apple. And yeah, so that's that out. If you see me back into it, I do understand that it just got taken out. The long here comes right back up now. Looks pretty strong, especially now that this NASDAQ is holding out upside a little bit. Of course, that number is a sell number. That's not really influencing my decision at all. It's just about this getting to the top again. Apple still green on the day, so that's, you know, strong against a weak market. Yeah, there's probably a better name to choose the short. There it is. So we get taken out again. 10-cent hit at the last piece there. Fine. Flush ourselves down the toilet. We tried that last little piece. Microsoft's still working, so if there is going to be a name to get back into this short, especially if we think the market's not going to go too much further than this, this isn't a horrible level. Microsoft against that 282. So I was waiting for that top to hit. This looks a lot better. Like that's right there. Yeah, VWAP. We also have been up here before, and my best fill is 77, which is why we're able to take a little bit more profit than sort of nitpicking with this Apple. So let's hold out on this and see what happens with Microsoft possibly coming to the downside now.
Here's something to do, because we always say smash the like for good reasons. Smash the like because you guys are great. Right. So we're not ignoring Tesla. Quite frankly, I got 4 stocks that I'm watching what I'm trading, and then I have a few like big cap names up there that I'm kind of monitoring. And I got away from Tesla this morning. So thank you for pointing out that Tesla's moving. You're not always going to see everything, and quite frankly, I don't know that I would have noticed this one unless you guys mentioned it. It just got back to 163. This was a maybe I should have stopped talking for a split second there. This was the point at which I got out in front of this level, and then it rolled over pretty much right here at 163. And that was like the double anyways. It was a double bottom early on, and then you saw it got flushed. So this would be the price level where it would make a bit of a turn. I do like the notion of shorting it here. Ooh, DWAC's starting to move. I have to actually cover some of the things that I'm in. And by the way, just INAB, it broke 3, went to 287. I was waiting at 81. And then it's right back at that $3 level. It just feels like it's a tiny bit strong. Usually what happens is when I give up on one of these shorts, but look how strong the stock is, it ends up breaking down after that, especially late in the day. But I'll give it some credit here. I just keep tightening up my trailing stop. It happens to be just above 10. If I don't get this fill soon, I'll probably just have to get out of it. DWAC's not doing a heck of a lot, but that Tesla, that looks juicy. At that 163 level, I might have just got a little bit yappity yap, and instead of take the short, Neil, because I wanted to kind of talk through the idea. I kind of hate when it's like, oh, I just sort of punch into it and then give you guys the reason after. No, I wanted to show you guys the zone. And I really did think the strength into the move, it was going to hang up here a little bit longer because that was a pretty strong move to the upside. But the last time it checked up at a level, it came right back and retested the high. It could do the same thing again. I just like this price area from the morning. And it's obvious why, because I got shaken out in front of it and then watched a bigger short happen. So yes, I'm going to like this 163. Now that I've said it, I'm sure I'm not going to get this price.
Yeah, and look what happens right now to Apple. This is always, honestly, like, we'll just, where the hell's that face slap thing again? You know, we gave it another try. Literally goes 5 cents higher than where we had it, and there would be, you know, this would put us back to flat. Like, we just would have made back what we lost right there. So let's cancel some of our bids right now so we don't get filled. As if, you know, man, these blaming the glasses. But there's a nice move to the downside now for Apple as it just took out that day's high. Wow, what a, right there. I mean, you know what? If we were off of it from there, 45, then we wouldn't have gone back in, but I still would have felt ways about that, Phil. But we lost twice on it, which does suck. But it's pulling back. At least you understand why I was in that one. And, you know, to no avail, it's all good. So I'm mad that we're not 2 for 2. But we do have this play right now. We'll get another 51 out if we can. We're short 75, so we made it all back on Microsoft. It's fine. You could see we actually double shorted this as well. We got a 75, and I think we even got a 77. Like, I got short, was like, nah, I want more. So I just punched more shares short, and there's a cover right back at 49s again there. Maybe it was 50s. I would have put one at 50, but I think I got better than that because I looked over. I was pissed off about Apple. I looked over at Microsoft. I was like, wow, that's down. So there it is right there. A nice little take on Microsoft. And again, short the names that are weaker than the market. I think if that's one thing to learn is that, you know, go back over to names that are weak and hopefully get that downside push.
Speaking of downside pushes, you said that I have not said a word about Intel this afternoon, quite frankly, because I haven't gotten any fills on it. I have been sitting on the offer. I'm going to cancel that now because it's 340, and it's retesting the low of the day. So I've already moved my trail on this. I don't think it's a time to add to this position. We'll just work with what we have here. But if it gets back above the previous low, like this 67, 70 area, I'll just get out of it. I'll probably be thinking this is a short till 29. Reason for that is here. The 50 period, now that you've broken the 200, you reverse the pattern, you sort of reverse that move. I'm looking for that 50 period to be the next support level at 29 even, but it's not going to go there today. Not enough time, not enough movement on the stock. So I have my stop on DWAC high of the day. It's only a couple cents in the money. It's not doing much. FRC, that's the one. This is the one tomorrow. This is the one today for me, but it's still having some trouble getting through 15.8. So at this point, I'm just holding for the top. If it can make this breakout, I'll look for it to get above 16 and find an exit between 16, 16.20, but I am not giving it all the way back in underneath VWAP. At this point, it's got to be like 15.60, tighten up the stop on this because we've run out of time. The less time there is for a big move, then I'm always going to tighten the stop because there's no point giving something all the way back to your entry at the end of the day, even if that's where your risk level was. As a day trader, you have your risk level, but you also have 4 o'clock. At least we have 4 o'clock. For others out there, maybe that's not a thing, but it is for us. INAB is very similar. Although it did get through 3, it still got VWAP down here, and I'm bidding that 280. Hopefully we can get that one. Naresh Gupta, trading from Barbados or Guyana? Well, that depends. Is it Carnival? Because if it's Carnival, I'm going with Guyana. Actually, like, I like Barbados is fine. I'm not one of those like I was born here. My family's West Indian. I'm not a hater on Bajans, but I'm going to go Guyana for that one. Not that I have any idea if there's a Day Trade the World office down there. That'd be a great business, man. Open up a Day Trade the World office in the Caribbean and then have traders just want a vacation down there and lime out and have some fun. That'd be great trading on the beach. But we're here doing a show for you guys every single day. I have no idea the context of that question, but I'll go to any island and trade, quite frankly, although that would mean I wouldn't be here, so probably not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't want to go anywhere that's nice to trade because then would rather be outside than trading probably.
That is a problem.
Disciplined enough to enjoy it. But yeah, check it out, daytradetheworld.com if you are interested in opening up an office or if you had any interest in seeing where our current offices are.
If you open one down there, I'll visit.
Daytradetheworld.com. Well, we probably have multiple offices down there. So
you think there's one in Barbados?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Maybe.
So that's for sure. There's plenty in Mexico. You can go down and visit there too if you want. 282 right now. So again, we did reshort Microsoft right here again at 70. Just touched a little bit higher. We're almost stopped out of this. Again, like I don't like honestly, man. This is the thing. You don't need to put on a trade if you don't see a trade. So I'm waiting for Microsoft to make a move here. I'm hoping it's to the downside. I feel like we've got some good support upside there. Again, Apple retraced all the way back up as well. Let's check out something that's going to be reporting. We have McDonald's coming through tonight as well, or tomorrow morning. It's one of those, and they continue to make new 52-week highs almost every single day. So McDonald's has been really on one back up to the upside here ever since breaking this 280 level. I own this stock. I'm excited to see what happens with earnings today, and I just feel like, you know, expansion throughout the world. Obviously they closed down their Russian operations as well. Let's see if they can talk about supply chain and how that's going, new food items, whatever. I don't know. We're going to wait to see what does happen with McDonald's. I know they're making a lot of money off Uber. It seems like every McDonald's I go into has tons of Uber action. What'd you say?
I'm going to forget to ask if you just mentioned McDonald's. Have you had the Chicken Big Mac
No.
yet? Okay.
Have you?
I still haven't had it either. Who's had the Chicken Big Mac? Is it good? I'm definitely interested in it, but...
I've heard of it.
Who said yuck?
I don't know. I don't know if they're talking about that or not, but...
Oh, come on,
Yeah,
Prad.
yeah,
If you haven't tried it, then don't tell me yuck, Prad. No, if you like, I'm a big proponent of don't tell me you don't like something or that it's just or that it doesn't taste good if you've never actually eaten it. I don't want to hear it, man. Tell me, is it any good? Not good, not good, no good. Okay.
No, Brad just saying it's supposed to be beef, but the point is it's called chicken.
It's a chicken.
Big Mac. So they know it's supposed to be beef. They flipped it. You know,
people
it's
like the McRib better. I say Big Mac funny. Really, I do. Is it a Canadian thing? Maybe. I don't know.
Say it again.
Big Mac. How am I saying it funny?
Sounds fine to me, man. I mean, Mac.
I do trigger easily, Kev82. You ever noticed that?
Mac.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
I trigger
Big
easy.
Mac. I feel like you're saying
day.
it right.
That's
I know
insane.
Return of the Mac. Am I saying that right?
Mark Morrison, baby.
Right there.
You knew that I'd be back.
The one thing is, I am surprised that the McRib is not a
Permanent.
staple. Yes. That I don't.
Figure it out, people.
Yeah, there has to be.
That is delicious, by the way. The
Come
McRib
on,
is.
Apple, as if Apple's making the
McRib
move
is
down and Microsoft isn't. The life of a day trader.
200,000 seller on FRC. It's 15 minutes left. I'm getting out in front of it. It just got hit for 100,000. I just got out 94s. When I saw this, it was 250,000 shares on the offer, and the second I saw it, I punched out. And now, someone just took 100,000 shares off the top here. So maybe I'm the sucker. Congratulations if you got it. This one is going to the upside. Oh, goodness. Why am I on this board? Oh, God, no. I can't. That's not the one. You got to hit one of these. Congratulations! If you got you some FRC, but that guy, somebody just sold legit, and it's now 200,000 that's come off that level, and it's continuing to go upside. So strong move. It's probably going to do so much volume after market on those earnings, but someone's dumping a bunch. I got out. Maybe it continues. VWAP bounce has been good. Oh, yeah, DWAC did DWAC things, which is what goes up must come down. I started getting out too early, quite frankly, because it wasn't doing anything, but that short ends up working. It won't be that great because I just got all over the bid. I wasn't sure it was going to move at all. The first short off this level was better. The second short was only okay. So it's just this, quarter left, INAB. We still have this one. It's working into VWAP. As a matter of fact, I might just say if it breaks $3, I'm out because it doesn't even want to flush into VWAP any further. So this one worked. Unfortunately, I did miss out on Tesla just now. Tesla maybe gave you that 163 and a slight little dip, but this is now too tight to the end of the day for me to get into it. We'll see what happens. I cannot believe that didn't even move the stock down 5 cents. 250,000 shares in FRC, and it didn't even budge to the downside. This really might moon tomorrow. Like it chewed through that order. It didn't even dip 1 cent. I got out right in front, and it was right through that level 2 seconds later. Crazy.
Yeah, I don't. I don't know what's going on right now. I'm pretty light in this Microsoft trade, so we're going to continue to watch that. We had McDonald's earnings. We're going to have the earnings board again showing up, but I think it's the one, man. FRC, the First Republic, should be the one to look at here tomorrow for sure. As we're getting ready to this wants to take out 282. Like, ugh. So it looks like this name wants to continue to go up. We're out of the money 10 cents. We will take, unfortunately, a 25 cent, 30 cent hit if we do take out 282, which came on pretty close right there as well. We keep getting out, so it looks like net. I mean, part of scalping is being able to get out and reloading it and then trying to hold something if it does make that move down. So I still want to do that and still want to be able to hold this. We're short at 72. It's at 73 right now. So it's not 75. It's not the end of the world, but it is making a move. Let's check out a name that I feel, I was going to say maybe a name that I feel is stronger than the rest, but this is even going down as Microsoft goes up. So yeah, the frustration, like Google's up on the day. So I would have thought that Google might have been testing some highs. Instead, it's Microsoft testing highs right now, completely opposite of what I thought would happen here. So maybe these glasses aren't allowing me to see any clearer, unless Brendan, of course, has news about Microsoft. I don't know.
I do not, but I can definitely check into that. A little one, a little low float type of name, trying to go here into the close. Not seeing much on this, but NCPL right now running up in a big way. Just went from $1 through to $1.50 there on huge volume for NCPL.
So just, we have only 1 minute till the imbalances come out.
Wow, okay.
So yeah, I'm only in, nothing I'm in with the exception of Intel probably matters. And even then, it's not, I'm in the last of it. It's not really doing anything. I have one last bit on DWAC. This is the point where I tighten up all stops. So let me just get my stop out on this. And probably if it gets to 13, even just 45, a small retrace should be all the reason I need to get out of this. So it's just about sort of adjusting things now that it's sort of gone in the money for me. So we'll see what happens with DWAC. Maybe draw my bid back because I'm going to try to hold it close enough to the close and then put the trailing stop on. Same thing with INAB. I've already tightened that stop. Oh, never mind.
It must be coming out of bid.
I'm just punching out because it just broke 3. It's actually picking up a little bit. So I'm just going to get out of INAB. We'll ring the register on that one. But you're right. This is, maybe we come out of bid because the market's already moving green. If you put your bet in for green, it's definitely leaning your way right now. But we'll see. It said 700 million to sell, and then there was no change. So the update that we got from Brendan was still 700 million sell side imbalance. Now, obviously, this could go either way. We'll let you know in real time in under 10 seconds. I will only have DWAC and Intel. I just got out of FRC and INAB. One was long, one was short.
Yeah, this is going to whack me. Ooh, okay. Nice little move down. I didn't get any fills, though, down here on Microsoft. It did flush a little bit there. It went down 10 cents, so wow, didn't do anything. Okay, so Microsoft actually flushed into the 70s there, but still doesn't give us much love. Okay, so Bed Bath & Beyond right now is a sell. Brendan will give us that number when we get it. Where? 1.1 billion to sell. Okay. Google with the sell. And again, the frustrations are continuing to mount with your boy now because the strong names continue to get weaker here into the close, and I have a weak name that continues to get stronger into the close, which is ridiculous. Apple's also fallen down. Not a great day here to be picking the same stocks as I am into this close. We only have Microsoft. It did come down. It was fine. It was an okay move. But honestly, let's just have a look to see what else is on here. Apple with a sell. Duh. We just talked about that. Bed Bath & Beyond, that's not going to do anything. 3 million shares. Although, I guess it went down half a penny. That might be something right now as well. Uber with a nice downside move. Google, Uber, AMD right there as well, maybe making a downside move. That's pretty ugly as well. So we'll have to watch out for AMD hitting that top now, coming back in. I don't know, man. We still have our stops set up for Microsoft. Oh, no. Hey, look, it's either a 282 or bust. We have some bids at 50, then into the 30s. Hopefully we get all of that.
So I'm out of Intel. Came out a small buy, but I had a trailing stop on it anyways. But Bed Bath & Beyond, 3 million to sell is not big. 3.4 million to sell with only 2 paired. It's done 470 million. So I'm going to get that out of the way. I did just jump into it, but then I kind of realized it might not move that much. Really, if it went down to 18 cents, that would be fantastic. I don't have 20 short. It's just our system rounds to the even penny. I'm actually short at 19.5. You can see right there. This is 19.5. That's 20 up there. I'll probably start bidding out as it goes into 18, maybe even starting on any break of 19 even. It's very likely this pairs off. As I said, that's not a gigantic sell imbalance given the amount of shares that it's done. And the notional value of that, a 19-cent stock at 3 million, it doesn't take any real buying power to flip it, right? I mean, or pair it off, I should say. And there isn't a lot of paired volume. So I'm just taking a shot on this. If it breaks 20, I'm out. Once it breaks 19, I want to start getting some out to the downside. Still have that DWAC, not really doing a ton. maybe I get VWAP, maybe I get 1325, but my trailing stops essentially right here at that at 1345. It's been decent for the big cap, for the small cap names this afternoon, finding some spots, but I think it's going to be all about them tomorrow. There is one name that we didn't really cover that I just want to make a quick comment on. Guess what found, well, it finds a bit every day, but is still flushing. I really need to not ignore Alibaba and the short on Alibaba. Ever since this, look at it at 100, holds 100 flushes, 95 in the 50 period, continues its move to the, it is just trending to the downside. Trending, 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 and I'm not really shorting it. But now it's finally at that support of 85 and making a bit of a bounce. Maybe we see the 90s again. But this has been trending down until it puts up a green day. Why not look red? I don't know. Stranger things have happened.
Yeah, for sure. Strange things happening right now in the market. We do have Microsoft reporting tomorrow after market, same as Alphabet. So there's a little bit of, possibly one moving one way, one moving the other, but they don't report today. It's tomorrow. So there's Google. Like, as I said, we shorted everything up here. Google has definitely fallen down. And as you can see, Microsoft doing the complete opposite and making moves up right now. So, we short, I guess, the wrong name there. And I mean, same thing with Apple. Like, we shorted it. It's making moves right back down to its afternoon bottoms again right here. And so that's why I sit here very stubbornly into Microsoft and just hope and think that we could possibly get a push down. I mean, it just needs to start reacting very similar to its peers, and then maybe we can get that. I'm going to take one piece out here at 72. I said I would try to hold this, but if it does fall back in, okay, maybe now it's coming in. I want to put something at, what we're short at, 71, put another 61. So I have a 61, a 51, and then into the 30s. Hopefully we can. You saw it just go to 62 there. So let's go to the downside, 63, 62, 61. Okay, we got that, so that's good. Here it comes, falling down a little bit. Sometimes you need to bitch and you get it. But nice fall down here. Give me some 51s now. Hey, it's a 20-cent win to end the day, so yeah, I want to take it. And I want it to happen right there, so here it comes in there. So there, all right, so sometimes the logic is still sound. We do take it, and that's what I mean. I consider myself obviously a trader. I mean, that's what I'm doing here. But more importantly, risk managing, right? You have to manage your risk. And booyaka right there as Microsoft can get back into the gates of hell. And there it is right now, 50 cents in the money. And here comes the move down. So there it is. So it's a nice little move. We waited for that. We had to wait for the imbalances to come out again. And I guess they still probably sell side here as there's the move down in the NASDAQ. Here's the move down in Microsoft. So there it is. We get paid off at the end of the day. Patience works on this name right there. I was losing my patience 100p. But it came back in right there, and happy to get that out. We only have 30% left.
Yes, sir. 100p. But it was 1.1 billion overall to sell. At 355, you do get like a pairing event. Bed Bath & Beyond ended up staying, so it's still 3 million, still not gigantic. Visa is 1 million to sell. General Motors is 700,000 to sell, while Ford is a buy, 700,000 to buy there. Kind of interesting. You'd see one way, one the other. We get GM earnings this week. Ford, by the way. Ford was one of the strongest stocks that was on my quote board today. Straight trend and straight shot to the upside. It didn't even get to 11 this time before bouncing. So I suppose if Ford's now making higher lows, if this gets back to 15 without a retest of 11, that's a pretty bullish look there for Ford as we go to Brendan to see what's on tap for earnings.
Speaking of GM, coming up before the open tomorrow, guys. Obviously, the big ones, as we discussed with Danielle Shea a little bit later, after the close tomorrow and then Wednesday as well, going to be an interesting. But there you go. Look at what's to come tonight and tomorrow.
All right, so we did a little bit of work on this before already. Of course, shout out to CN Rail there, Canadian. 3M, General Electric, GM.
GE.
I mean, there's going to be some big names here. I mean, they're not too exciting on the tech side of things. That starts off tomorrow night, as we talked about Alphabet and Microsoft, and we've already had, of course, Tesla and Netflix. But yeah, UPS is a good bellwether, right? So we can be able to find out what FedEx is going to be up to. UPS, that could be something to do with obviously shipping concerns and supply chain and so on and so forth.
But we know what's up.
What's that?
FRC is going to do volume tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
You just, like, how often do you get an opportunity? Because you
Ain't
saw what
not
happened.
doing volume.
You saw what happened with Wall, right?
Yes.
And Wall wasn't nearly, none of these moved the way that FRC moved to the downside. So when you talk about opportunity, it's a nice break today, but if the only moves are like dollar moves on FRC tomorrow, I will think that's a disappointment if you're only getting dollar moves on FRC. I just think it's got so much more opportunity to the upside, but we don't know how they're going to report. I have no idea what the report's going to look like. I want it to be a long. It doesn't mean it's going to set up as a long, but that's what I really would like to have happen. I just want to see anything that's positive in that report, and then I'm only thinking long until it gets above $25. Bed Bath & Beyond had that sell and bounce. I got 19.5. It got to 18.5. Now it's bouncing. One of the reasons for that is that 3 million sell and bounce is now 2 million. And that's pretty much the reason why it made that little bit of a bounce. I'll just take more shares out. Quite frankly, that's sort of almost like a gimmicky thing. And it's not even that big of an imbalance. If it had been 20 or 30 million shares, then you take a bigger shot on something like Bed Bath & Beyond. If a penny stock has a monster imbalance to the sell side, I'm probably all over the short, holding into the close and adding on the way. This isn't that big.
Yeah, okay. Just reviewing it. We just got out of Microsoft. It took out 70. We just punched out. We only had 20% left. This was the key. We talked about it coming back down to 30, it flushed there, and we got everything that flushed, man. Well, you saw me take the 70, then we got the 60. I said we were at 60, then at 51. I told you all those, and then right back into that low that we got. We were sitting there, took it all out. We had 20% left, and we just got that out at 70. So again, a win on Microsoft here to close. I mean, we don't have any outs that are higher than our ins. So those are always good, especially when you're shorting. With only 10 seconds left, we will have that bell getting rung, I think, by Fahad. I don't know who's going to be on that one. I don't know where Katrina is. I saw her here earlier.
She's here.
She's not here right now. I don't know if she's gone. So you get the very handsome Fahad getting ready to ring the bell for everybody. And again, Fahad was on the midday show, and he's going to continue to be. So I think we could sort of get that all figured out, divide that up, and we'll figure out the work on that. But thanks to Fahad, thanks to Sharif and everybody for making that magic on the midday show, and we'll continue to try our best as well. But it's only 15 seconds left, so it's going to be good. I hope Neil's getting all limbered up for the race eventually.
Oh, I'm good.
I know my guy's ready over there. He's always ready. He's born ready.
He's not ready.
Right there. There he is. He likes that. No. If
Your
you
triceps won't help you race.
Yeah, 3, 2, 1. I just got to make sure that 100%, like this guy never takes off his shirt or anything on, because it almost looked like he was going to do that.
He'd break the stream.
So I don't, exactly. We don't need,
stream.
Like the Kardashians break the internet or something. Fahad will break YouTube with all that. Then we're going to get like all these ladies sending stuff in and all that kind of stuff. But not that we don't, send stuff in for Fahad if you want. That's all good. Our guy Sharif got a nice little gift there the other day as well.
He did. That was cool.
I think that was from Renata.
Thanks,
Renata, for that as well. But okay, here we go.
Oh,
the Blue Jays have recalled Nate Pearson.
I know,
so
finally.
That should be good there.
Flamethrower.
And then Adam Simber on the IL. Okay, let's go over to Brendan at the big desk and see how we wound up.
Mixed day, guys. To end things off, was wondering if we were going to get back to positive territory for the NASDAQ as we came on there at 2 o'clock. But no such luck. Here's how we end the session. The S&P, 0.06, 0.15 for the Dow. It is a red day for the NASDAQ, just 0.25%, but could be a lot worse, obviously. 1.16 down here for crude oil, still positive for Bitcoin to end the equity session, obviously a 24-hour market. But another kind of relatively uneventful day if you look at the overall markets, guys.
So if you bet on green for the ES, then you've won. Oddly enough, it was like 45% or something had bet on green and mostly bet red. I lost. I bet on red. Quite frankly, and the ES got to green. So congratulations to all of you. You can check your point totals. Congratulations! We'll be back tomorrow. It was fun to do today. I mean, obviously, I know Fahad, that's only going to grow. They're going to be doing that with Sharif every single day. Yep. I think it's going to be a really cool feature because he's committed to it. That's the thing. Like, he's not messing around with this. We're
going to try to teach,
he really wants to learn.
Yeah, where you can start from zero, hopefully. And we started from the bottom. Now we're here. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Thank you so much to everybody, man. We got to get out of here. It's 4:02. Earnings are going to start hitting the tape, so get ready for those. Nothing too exciting today, so we won't stick around. But it is starting to come up, unless FRC is out already. I do hear some people in the background. Is that tomorrow before the open?
It's not.
FRC goes up to 1650 right now, back down. Was that before the open or?
It's aftermarket.
It is, okay, so
It
we'll
is
watch out for FRC. Not doing a whole heck of a lot, but stay tuned for Twitter. We'll tweet something out if it's dramatic. But hey, great show again. We're back tomorrow. It should be exciting. We will be trading First Republic and everything else as we go. So for everybody here, thanks to Mahad, Fahad, Rob, Mark, Brendan. Did you want to say anything, Brendan, or not?
No, all good.
Okay, good.
It's
All right,
not
good.
out yet.
It's not out yet. 1625 right now for FRC. So, all right. Thanks to Sharif as well, and everybody that's part of Trader TV Live, Bears vs Bulls, and of all of our viewers. Tomorrow's another day. Sleep well, and we'll catch you then. For Neil, Brendan, and Sean, I'm Sean. You're Neil. That's Brendan.
That's
we'll
right.
see you tomorrow, everybody. Ciao.